Chapter 191. The Church of Shadows. Mo Shao by Scan the Empty Space. There were dozens of black-robed men standing around the Yujiang holy statue. Among them, there were more than 10 extremely powerful black-robed men surrounding the Yujiang holy statue. Black rays of light shot from their hands into the Yujiang holy statue. Through the Yujiang holy statue, the black rays of light seemed to have been greatly amplified. The thick black pillars of light shot into the sky. The remaining black-robed men stood around the empty space. They seemed to be guarding the Yujiang holy statue with the other black-robed men. On the four sides of the Yujiang statue, there were 10 huge blood pools that were filled with fresh blood. At that moment, streams of fresh blood floated out of the blood pools and merged into the statue. "It's these guys again," Mo Shao frowned. He quickly controlled Little Qing to stop under a hidden rock. It was still a few kilometers away from the empty space. The black-robed men around the statue had an extremely powerful aura. It was not something he could compare to now. Although their attention was on the Yujiang holy statue, it was better to be safe. They did not want to get too close and be discovered. In the empty space, the Church of Shadows Bishop Hua, he and many other higher-ups looked up at the sky. Their eyes were filled with fanatical worship. "Praise our God. The shadows are always here. Our God is finally coming. Ha ha." The surrounding powerhouses of the Church of Shadows were also looking at the dark clouds in the sky with fanatical worship. Some of them were even trembling in excitement. Roar. At that moment, a dull roar came from the dark clouds in the sky. At the same time, an extremely powerful aura slowly came out of the dark clouds. The next moment, the dark clouds rolled. There seemed to be a black shadow surging inside, struggling to break free. Hearing the roar, Mo Xiaobai's heart shook. He widened his eyes and looked up at the dark clouds. Suddenly, Mo Xiaobai saw the surging black shadow. The shadow was extremely huge. It was at least a few thousand meters long. It had 3 necks, and each head was the size of a small mountain. His heart turned cold. What the F***CK? What the hell is that? Is that Yojiang's real body? Mo Xiaobai's back was drenched in cold sweat when he sensed the imposing aura coming from the dark clouds. These people actually wanted the Netherworld River to descend. Since he was a deity, he should be a demigod at the very least. If such a strong person were to come to Azure, Mo Xiaobai felt his scalp go numb. Roar! Another roar came from the dark clouds. Within a radius of several hundred kilometers, violent roars resounded through the heavens and earth. The purplish-black threads of misfortune that were originally only wrapped around the dark clouds slowly spread out. Mo Xiaobai felt like his heart was about to stop. This was a deity. No wonder this guy's line of misfortune was so black that it was turning purple. He gritted his teeth and looked at the huge statue of Yujiang on the ground again. At this moment, the statue was flashing with extremely dazzling red light. He steeled his heart and took out the origin skill rune for the demonic flame sword. He didn't expect that he would have to use this trump card so soon. Mo Xiaobai couldn't help but twitch the corner of his mouth. However, if he didn't use it when a Netherworld River really descended, it wouldn't be as simple as 1 or 2 cities being destroyed. He slowly exhaled, and his gaze became sharp. Origin power surged into the rune. Suddenly, wisps of flames ignited on the rune and slowly enveloped Mo Xiaobai's body. An extremely violent aura spread out. Roar, roar, roar. Sensing the powerful aura, the Netherworld River above the dark clouds roared anxiously. Mo Xiaobai felt a sinister and cold gaze fall on him. His soul felt as if it was being frozen, and at the same time, his heart seemed to have become violent. Mo Xiaobai's heart turned cold. Even though the Netherworld River had yet to descend and was separated by endless time and space, its gaze was still so terrifying. However, the demonic flame sword was a rune at the peak of 9 apertures. Its powerful aura enveloped Mo Xiaobai and blocked most of the pressure. Mo Xiaobai's heart calmed down. In the open space, The expressions of all the experts from the Church of Shadows changed drastically when they sensed Mo Xiao Bai's powerful aura. Huai's face, which was originally filled with morbid passion, turned pale. This aura, 9 apertures. How is this possible? How can an expert come so quickly? The place he chose was extremely remote and was a certain distance away from the near city. By the time the experts from the Azure Blue reacted, the Netherworld River should have already descended. Why would there be a 9 apertures expert here? Although his heart was full of questions, he didn't have time to think about it. He and the other higher-ups had to guide the Darkness Origin Crystal. Otherwise, the Netherworld River would be banished. He roared, "Believers of the Church of Shadows, it's time to sacrifice for our God. Block his attack." All the believers of the Church of Shadows roared and rushed toward Mo Xiao Bai. Mo Xiao Bai's eyes were cold. Most of these fellows were 5 or 6 chakras experts. Normally, he would have run as far as he could. But now, things were different. Mo Xiao Bai's eyes turned sharp, and a dark red flaming sword appeared in his hand. The flaming sword was 10 meters long, and the violent temperature caused the surrounding rocks to slowly crystallize. It was a legendary origin skill rune, Demonic Flame Sword. Sensing the threat from the Demonic Flame Sword, Yu Jiang, who was struggling to descend from the dark clouds, let out a furious roar. "Roar! Mortal! How dare you!" His roar echoed for thousands of kilometers. Mo Xiao Bai laughed coldly. "Go back." He waved his right hand, and the demonic flame sword turned into a streak of scarlet light that shot toward the Netherworld River statue. All the believers of the Church of Shadows roared as they tried to block the demonic flame sword. However, how could a mere 5 or 6 apertures martial fundamentalists block a legendary origin skill at the peak of 9 apertures? Their bodies were instantly burned to ashes, and they had no ability to resist at all. Under the gazes of Netherworld River, Hua He, and the other experts of the Church of Shadows, the demonic flame sword stabbed into the statue. Chi! The flaming sword stabbed into the statue's heavy sword, and scarlet cracks began to spread from the sword. Then there was a loud explosion. The giant Netherworld River statue exploded. No! Hua He and the other experts of the Church of Shadows roared unwillingly. The statue exploded, and the terrifying recoil, coupled with the surging shockwaves, caused Hua He and the other experts of the Church of Shadows to fly backward and crash into the ground. Their auras became extremely weak, and they coughed up blood. They couldn't even stand up. After the statue exploded, the black pillar of light that pierced through the sky disappeared, and the vortex in the dark clouds stopped spinning. The giant dark clouds continued to shrink. Roar! Netherworld River roared angrily from within the dark clouds. "Mortal! Damn mortal!" His body twisted in the dark clouds, trying to force his way through, but as the dark cloud shrank, he was pushed back. Seeing that he couldn't descend, Netherworld River stared coldly at Mo Xiao Bai. "Mortal, I'll remember you." A wisp of black light flowed and flew toward Mo Xiao Bai, crashing into Mo Xiao Bai's body. Mo Xiao Bai, who was still burning with flames, blocked the black light's attack, but a wisp of black mist slowly merged into Mo Xiao Bai's body. Mo Xiao Bai felt a sharp pain in his arm. In the next moment, a strange black rune appeared on his arm. Mo Xiao Bai's heart trembled. What the F***CK? That was a god's ability. He was frightened. But soon, Mo Xiao Bai realized that there was no misfortune line on the rune, but only a white light. He immediately felt relieved. It seemed that this thing was harmless to him. The harmful ones from before had been blocked. At this moment, the dark clouds shrank faster and faster, and only a few dozen kilometers were left. After shooting a black light at Mo Xiao Bai, Netherworld River shot another black light at the experts of the Church of Shadows on the ground. In the next moment, the black light enveloped the experts of the Church of Shadows and disappeared. Only fragments and charred ashes were left on the ground. Soon, the dark clouds completely dissipated, and the sky became clear again. Mo Xiao Bai breathed a sigh of relief. His back was drenched in cold sweat, and he felt like he was about to collapse. Too dangerous. I actually did something so dangerous. However, when he thought about how he had stopped a god from descending, Emo Xiaobai couldn't help but smile. As expected of me, he chuckled, and then found that there were many red lights flowing on the empty ground below. Among them, there were a few red lights that were extremely bright. Emo Xiaobai summoned Little Qing. Screech! After Little Qing came out, it first shrunk its neck and looked around. When it found that the dark clouds were gone, it immediately raised its head and puffed out its chest, looking proud. Emo Xiaobai was a little confused. Little Qing, bring me down. Screech! Little Qing screeched and brought Emo Xiaobai to the empty ground. Emo Xiaobai jumped down from Little Qing's back and walked towards the deepest red light. Soon, Emo Xiaobai found that the red light corresponded to a black crystal. This black crystal was only the size of a fist, and it looked like there was a deep darkness surging inside. And on the surface of the crystal, there was a red light flashing. A legendary item. Emo Xiaobai was overjoyed. He had just used a legendary item, and he didn't expect to get another one. Emo Xiaobai picked up the black crystal and carefully observed it. What was this thing? Emo Xiaobai looked at the black crystal and was a little confused. He had never seen such a rare material before. It should be the medium that wanted the Netherworld River to descend, right? Emo Xiaobai put the black crystal away. Then, he found 6 more black crystals, all of which were legendary items. It was probably destroyed by the previous explosion. Perhaps its original level was 1 level higher? If it could cause a god to descend, its quality shouldn't be low. What a pity. Emo Xiaobai felt a little regretful. However, finding 7 legendary items was already good enough. Emo Xiaobai comforted himself. Chapter 192. After picking up the items with the brightest red light, Emo Xiaobai picked up the spatial rings of the shadow cult believers that had been burned to ashes. There were about 30 of them, and each of them had a red light flowing on it. After picking up the items, Emo Xiaobai did not stay for long. He took advantage of Little Qing to leave the open space. Only the fragments of the statue were left behind. A moment later, a few powerhouses flew into the sky and landed on the ground. The leader was an elven man with short purple hair, a square face, and a sturdy body. His gaze swept across the open space and paused at the crystallized ground, the statue fragments, and the deep pit of blood. He frowned. Behind the elven man, a night creature woman with a hot body had a serious expression on her face. Brother Wong, the residual aura here is very strong. I feel the aura of divinity. Another human with a gentle appearance and a thin figure spoke. According to the previous report, it's very likely that a cult wanted to summon their evil god here. Wang Xiaoyang lowered his head and looked at a black statue fragment, his eyes flashing. There was still a trace of burning aura at the edge of the statue. Which powerhouse with the fire element destroyed the summoned statue? Could it be someone from the Su family? The night creature woman was curious. In the Empire, the Su family had the most powerhouses with the fire element. They inherited the power of the fire element in their bloodline. I'm afraid not. If it was someone from the Su family, they wouldn't have left these things here without even taking care of the aftermath. Then who could it be? Everyone was puzzled. Who does good deeds without leaving a name these days? A rough-looking barbarian man rubbed his face and couldn't help but laugh. This, stopping the evil god from descending, is a great merit. The others were also puzzled. Wang Xiaoyang shook his head slightly and said with a smile, "Let's not think about this for now. Let's clean up here and deal with the aftermath. Then we'll find out who did it." Okay. Everyone nodded and began to clean up. Dusk, Akatsuki Academy. Emo Xiaobai rode on Little Green and landed on the empty ground in front of the building. After getting down from Little Green's back, Emo Xiaobai put Little Green away, opened the door, and walked in. As soon as he entered, Emo Xiaobai smelled a tempting fragrance. His eyes lit up, and he turned to look in the direction of the kitchen. He saw Natsuki's graceful figure busying herself in the kitchen. Emo Xiaobai couldn't help but smile. Sister Xiaodong is the best. There was delicious food as soon as he came back. He He had just dealt with an evil god and wanted to eat some good food to calm himself down. He grinned as he approached the kitchen door. Sister Xiaotong, I'm back. Mu Xiaodong turned to look at Mo Xiaobai and revealed a faint smile. You're back. Wash your hands and get ready to eat. Where are Sister Yin and Xiao Xue? Mo Xiaobai asked as he walked towards the washroom. Before Natsu Ki could say anything, Mo Xiaobai felt a whiff of fragrance. In the next moment, Mo Xiaobai was hugged from behind. Su Yin's laughter came from above his head. Xiaobai, do you miss your sister that much? You just came back and you're asking where your sister is? Mo Xiaobai's mouth twitched. Sister Yin, you're so heavy. Although the back of his head was a little soft, it felt good. But he wouldn't say it. What? How dare you say that I'm heavy? I'll tell you when you're done. Su Yin immediately shouted. Then, she hugged Mo Xiaobai's head with both hands. Mo Xiaobai felt like he had fallen into darkness, and he couldn't see the road ahead at all. In the next moment, he felt something wrapped around his waist. He reached out and touched it. It was a little warm. Is it heavy? Is it heavy? I'll crush you, you stinky brother. Su Yin shouted and pressed her whole body on top of him. Mo Xiaobai was a little overwhelmed by the hug. He hurriedly said, I was wrong, Sister Yin. Your figure is the best. You'll be too fat if you gain 1 point, and too skinny if you lose 1 point. It's not heavy at all. I was blind. It's good that you know you're wrong. Su Yin smiled and let go of Mo Xiaobai. Mo Xiaobai looked at the smug Su Yin and his mouth twitched. She actually forced him to submit. She was inhuman. At this moment, Yin Shui opened the door and walked in. When she saw Mo Xiaobai, she was stunned for a moment, then smiled and said, You're back. Yes. Mo Xiaobai smiled and nodded. Where did you go? I went to the martial arts arena to play for a while. Yin Shui said lightly, Your battle at the martial arts arena last time is famous in school. Martial arts arena? At the mention of the martial arts arena, Mo Xiaobai immediately thought of the two students. However, Mo Xiaobai didn't know them and didn't know which year they were in. Mo Xiaobai frowned slightly and thought about how to find them. Seeing that Mo Xiaobai was silent, Yin Shui glanced at him. What's wrong? Mo Xiaobai came back to his senses and said with a smile, How was it? Did you lose to anyone? Yin Shui raised her eyebrows and the corners of her lips curled up slightly. In the same grade, other than you, who else could be my match? Su Yin said with a smile. Little Shui has won dozens of matches in the martial arts arena in a row these few days. She beat the second-year students until they can't do anything. She's that good? Mo Xiaobai also laughed. It made sense when he thought about it. With Yin Shui's current 3-chakra cultivation coupled with her legendary origin skill, a normal peak 3-chakra body fundamentalist or even a beginner 4-chakra body fundamentalist was no match for her. Although most of Akatsuki's students were geniuses, it also depended on who they were compared to. Not to mention the second years. Most of the third years probably weren't Yin Shui's match. Yin Shui smiled proudly when she heard this. At this moment, Natsu Ki walked out of the kitchen. Come and help carry the dishes. It's time to eat. Oh, the three of them either carried the dishes or went to get the bowls and chopsticks, helping to clean up. After all, they didn't know how to cook, so they had to do what they could. It wasn't good to stretch out one's hand for food and open one's mouth for clothes. Just as Mo Xiaobai walked past Natsu Ki paused. She turned to look at Mo Xiaobai, frowning slightly with some confusion in her eyes. Mo Xiaobai was slightly stunned when he saw Natsu Ki's strange expression. Sister Xiaotong, what's wrong? Natsu Ki frowned slightly. After a moment of silence, she said, Xiaobai, come here for a moment. Mo Xiaobai walked over with some confusion. Natsu Ki reached out and pressed her hand on Mo Xiaobai's body, and wisps of green light flashed on her body. The next moment, her frown deepened, and she looked at Mo Xiaobai with some shock in her eyes. Seeing Natsu Ki's expression, Su Yin and Yin Shui also felt that something was wrong. Su Yin blinked her eyes and asked, What's wrong? What's wrong, Tong Tong? Natsu Ki took a deep breath and was in disbelief. Yo-Yo, come and sense it. I might have sensed wrongly. Su Yin walked over with a puzzled look on her face. Just like Natsu Ki, She pressed her body on Mo Xiaobai's body. After a moment, the flames around Su Yin's body fluctuated violently. She took a few steps back and looked at Mo Xiaobai with a shocked expression. How is this possible? Mo Xiaobai was a little confused by the two of them. He scratched his head. What's wrong? Natsuki and Su Yin looked at each other. After a moment of silence, Natsuki took a deep breath and looked at Mo Xiaobai with a serious expression. Xiaobai, have you met the higher-ups of some cult recently? Or the cult's sacred item? Mo Xiaobai was stunned and recalled the situation at Yujiang. His heart skipped a beat. What's wrong? Su Yin's expression stiffened. Why is there a remnant of divinity in your body? And it's the kind that's filled with resentment. Divinity? Yin Shui, who was at a loss, suddenly exclaimed when she heard this. She looked at Natsuki and Su Yin in a daze, then looked at Mo Xiaobai with her mouth wide open. Why does this guy have divinity? Su Yin's mouth twitched, and she had a strange expression on her face. Moreover, the degree of hatred made me suspect that you might have destroyed the headquarters of an evil cult. Mo Xiaobai. The corner of his mouth twitched as he recalled Yu Zhang's cold and resentful gaze. Should be stopping the gods from descending or destroying the Cthulhuism cult's headquarters, which was more resentful. Mo Xiaobai was not very sure. Natsuki, Su Yin, Yin Shui, hearing Mo Xiaobai's words, the three of them were at a loss. After a moment of silence, Su Yin suddenly exclaimed, "You're right. What do you mean by should be? Lil bye-bye. Did you really destroy a cult's headquarters?" The three of them looked at Mo Xiaobai, stunned. Mo Xiaobai scratched his head. Not really. How could I destroy a cult's headquarters? I don't even know where the cult's headquarters is. Hearing this, the three of them breathed a sigh of relief. Natsuki rubbed her forehead. Don't scare me. I knew it. With your cultivation, how could you destroy the Cthulhuism cult's headquarters? Yin Shui couldn't help but roll her eyes. Really, you gave me a fright. Seeing the three of them looking at him with dissatisfaction, Mo Xiaobai could not help but scratch his head awkwardly. Mo Xiaobai's mouth twitched. Well, although I did not destroy the Cthulhuism cult's headquarters, I stopped the Cthulhuism from descending. The atmosphere suddenly became very quiet. Natsuki, Su Yin, and Yin Shui were stunned. Their faces were still a little dazed, as if they had not recovered from their shock. Seeing that the atmosphere was a little strange, Mo Xiaobai looked at the three of them and laughed dryly. Are you guys okay? Hearing Mo Xiaobai's voice, the three of them came back to their senses. Su Yin's eyes widened. You said you stopped the Cthulhuism from descending. Are you kidding me? Even Natsuki, who was always calm and gentle, was blushing at this moment. Xiaobai, are you serious? Do you know what a Cthulhuism is? It's a god. Yin Shui also looked at Mo Xiaobai in a daze. She looked very cute, like a doll. Mo Xiaobai nodded. I'm serious. It even left a tattoo for me. As he spoke, he rolled up his sleeves, revealing the strange runes on his arm. This was what Yu Jiang had done for him. It looked like a tattoo. Chapter 193. God's Grudge Mark. Natsuki, Yin Shui, and Su Yin's pupils constricted when they saw this strange rune. You guys recognize this? Mo Xiaobai was stunned. Natsuki looked at the rune on Mo Xiaobai's arm and nodded slightly. Yeah, if you're targeted by the god of evil, it will leave a mark on you, which means it won't rest until you're dead. In the future, once it and its followers sense your aura, they'll do everything they can to kill you. Many powerhouses in the upper echelons of the empire have sabotaged the god of evil's actions, so they have this thing. Yin Shui added softly. Then, she looked at Mo Xiaobai with a strange expression. Those who have the god's grudge mark are usually powerhouses with 9 apertures and above. Mo Xiaobai was speechless. He suddenly felt bitter and could not help but complain. Wow, isn't the god of evil too petty? Isn't it just sending him home? Is there need to do this? Natsuki and the others rolled their eyes. The god of evil tried so hard to descend to Azure, but you sent him home. Who would be able to stand it? So which god of evil did you offend? Mo Xiaobai said weakly. The shadow, 3-headed serpent of the shadow cult. Yu Jiang. It's him? Yin Shui and the others showed a look of realization. After all, the last time they met that guy was a few months ago on the Merfolk Island. They did not expect to meet that guy again so soon. Su Yin had a strange smile on her face as she patted Mo Xiaobai. Xiaobai, you're probably the first martial fundamentalist in history to be targeted by a devil and a god of evil at 3 apertures. You've broken a record. The corner of Mo Xiaobai's mouth twitched. He rolled his eyes. I'm not going to break this damn record. Was it easy for him? Wouldn't he be assassinated whenever he went out? Isn't it good to live happily? He lowered his head and looked at the rune in his hand with a pained expression. Can this thing be removed? Natsuki and the other 2 shook their heads in unison. Even if it's a demigod-level mark of God's grudge, only a true God-level elite can erase it. There's no such elite in Azure. Mo Xiaobai, he didn't want to talk anymore. It was very unbearable. He scratched his head. Forget it, I don't care. They can't possibly kill their way into the school to mess with me, right? Mo Xiaobai remembered that the higher-ups of the Shadow Cult were all seriously injured. Although he had been taken away by Yu Jiang, he would still need some time to recover, right? Who knows, maybe after a few decades, he would surpass them. Hearing Mo Xiaobai's words, Natsuki smiled and flipped her hair. Next time, take me and Yo-Yo with you. Tong Tong is right. Otherwise, who knows who will assassinate you? Yin Shui said, By the way, did you meet anyone from the Void Faith when you went out this time? Mo Xiaobai heard this and was silent for a moment. He told them about meeting the people from the Void Faith in the Magic Fire Plains. Suddenly, Natsuki and the other 2 frowned slightly. You really met them? It seems that they've been watching you. Mo Xiaobai said, By the way, when I was at the martial arts arena last time, I met 2 students. I felt that something was wrong with them. I suspect that they might be members of the Void Faith. They actually sneaked into the school? Su Yin frowned. What do they look like? Mo Xiaobai thought for a moment and described the characteristics of the 2. Su Yin nodded. I'll get someone to look for them. Mo Xiaobai nodded. Then he thought of something and said with a smile, By the way, I found an epic-grade origin skill crystal in the Magic Fire Plains. Natsuki, Su Yin, Yin Shui. The 3 of them trembled violently and turned to look at Mo Xiaobai, their eyes burning. Mo Xiaobai felt his scalp go numb from their gazes. He couldn't help but hug his body. What are you doing? Even if you force me, you can only get my body. You can't get my heart. The 3 of them looked at Mo Xiaobai with black lines on their heads. Yin Shui hammered Mo Xiaobai's chest. If you talk nonsense again, we'll beat you up together. Mo Xiaobai coughed dryly and stood up straight. It's a fire elemental origin skill. Ha 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 ha. Just as Mo Xiaobai finished speaking, Su Yin began to laugh loudly. Xiaobai, big sister loves you. She excitedly hugged Mo Xiaobai and gave him a facial cleanser. Mo Xiaobai struggled out of the turbulent waves and took a deep breath. Yin Shui glanced at Su Yin unhappily. Big sister Yin, pay attention to your image. Su Yin casually waved her hand. Don't worry, there are no outsiders here. Then, she looked at Mo Xiaobai. What origin skill is this? Let me see. Mo Xiaobai took out the origin skill crystal and handed it to Su Yin. Su Yin took the origin skill crystal and checked its information. The next moment, she was so excited that her face flushed red. Her hands tightly clutched the origin skill crystal, as if she was afraid that Mo Xiaobai would snatch it back. Mo Xiaobai felt a toothache. Natsuki and Yin Shui looked at Su Yin curiously. Su Yin was a direct descendant of the Su clan, so she naturally had seen many epic-level origin skills. For Su Yin to be so excited, it was obvious that this epic-level origin skill was not ordinary. Yo-Yo, what origin skill is this? Natsuki asked curiously. Su Yin laughed. It's a body-refining passive origin skill. Natsuki's pupils shrank, and she cried out in surprise. An epic-level body-refining origin skill? Okay, she was also jealous. So jealous. The value of body-refining origin skills was high, let alone an epic-level one. She bit her lower lip and turned to look at Mo Xiaobai. Mo Xiaobai, He retreated in defeat under Natsuki's gaze. Cough, I only found this one. If there's one suitable for you next time, I'll definitely give it to you. Natsuki sighed. Okay. Yin Shui was also envious, but she wasn't as exaggerated as Natsuki. After all, even if she was given an epic-level origin skill, she wouldn't be able to use it. Mo Xiao turned to look at the excited Su Yin and couldn't help but roll his eyes. Stop smiling like an idiot and give me the money. Su Yin curled her lips, then smiled. How about you give it to me, and I'll repay you with my body? Mo Xiao refused. No, I want an origin crystal. TCH, am I not as attractive as an origin crystal? Su Yin was starting to doubt her life. However, after thinking for a moment, she still said, the price of an epic-level origin skill is very high. Apart from origin crystals, is there anything else you need? I can exchange it for you. Mo Xiao was stunned when he heard this. He recalled his gains from the demonic fire planes and realized that he didn't lack origin crystals. As for origin skills, he already had enough. Even if he wanted an origin skill, it would definitely be epic level. Even Su Yin wanted him to give her an epic level origin skill. The equipment was also new, and it was a heaven-grade legendary armor set. It was the highest level of equipment. Following this, Mo Xiao thought of the demonic flame sword from before. He could prepare some trump cards. Do you have anything that can only be used once and has great power? Or something that can help me escape? Mo Xiao said with a smile. Hearing this, Su Yin thought for a moment, then smiled and took out 2 items. This is a spatial teleportation stone. It can teleport you 1,000 kilometers away, and the location is random. Su Yin handed a stone with a complicated formation on it to Mo Xiao. This is a single-use destructive rune called the Silver Wind Spear. Its power is at the level of 8 apertures. She smiled and said, this is the deposit. One-use destructive runes aren't very common, and I don't have many on me. I'll have to tell my family to send some over. Mo Xiao pressed the 2 runes in his hand, feeling delighted. Just these 2 items would greatly increase Mo Xiao's ability to protect himself. After all, being able to travel 1,000 kilometers was equivalent to escaping with his life. As for the 8-aperture destructive rune, Mo Xiao had used the demonic flame sword before, so he was quite excited about it. With these items, he felt much more at ease. No problem. Mo Xiao nodded. After all, Su Yin had said that she would give him a few more. Right, I'll give you another 50 million credits and 50 million grade 3 origin crystals. Mo Xiao also took it with a smile. The value of these items was definitely inferior to epic grade origin skills. All right, this origin skill crystal is mine. Su Yin giggled as she put the origin crystal back into her spatial ring. It looked like she was afraid that someone would snatch it from her. Let's eat. Su Yin giggled as she sat down at the dining table. Natsuki's face was filled with envy. She glanced at Mo Xiao again, her eyes filled with hidden bitterness. Mo Xiao felt a little embarrassed under her gaze. There was nothing he could do if he couldn't find something suitable for Sister Xiaotong. Let's eat, the food's getting cold. Natsuki couldn't help but smile when she saw Mo Xiao's awkward expression. Su Yin was still thinking about the origin crystal for the dark flame body, so even her favorite food wasn't very attractive to her. She randomly ate 2 mouthfuls of food before putting down her bowl and chopsticks. I'm full. I'm going to cultivate. With that, she ran up the stairs. Mo Xiao and the other 2 looked at each other and continued eating. Late at night, Su Yin's room. Su Yin wore a nightgown and lay on the bed, holding a communication crystal in her hand. Hey, old man, give me some single-use origin skill runes, both offensive and defensive. It's best if they have the power of 8 or 9 apertures. 10 or 20 of them should be enough. Su family. Su Xin looked at the communication crystal with a dumbfounded expression. If he hadn't recognized his daughter's voice, he would have thought that he, the Su family patriarch, was being extorted. A single-use origin skill rune with both offensive and defensive properties? And it's best if they have the power of 8 or 9 apertures. And 10 or 20 of them. Did she think she was asking for fruit? Su Xin almost spat out blood. Yo-yo, what? There aren't many 8-aperture origin skill runes in the family's treasury. Why do you need so many? Suyin chuckled. I bought an epic-grade body-tempering origin skill crystal from someone and planned on exchanging it with a single-use origin skill rune. Don't tell me you don't know how precious epic-grade body-tempering origin skill crystals are, old man. They're my good friends, so don't be stingy. Su Xin. Chapter 194. Hearing Su Yin's words, Su Xin was stunned. Epic-grade body-tempering origin skill crystals. Which friend of yours is actually willing to sell this? He was a little dumbfounded. He was actually so overbearing. Suyin smiled and said, he can't use it himself, but it's suitable for me, so he sold it. He wants to use some life-saving methods to exchange for it. It's best if he can get some 8-chakra level ones. Su Xin was silent for a moment. Since it's an epic-grade body-tempering origin skill crystal, I naturally can't be stingy. Which friend of yours exchanged it with you? The girl from the Mu family? I'm not telling you, Su Yin said with a grin. Hearing this, Su Xin shook his head and laughed. You little girl. All right, then I'll go take a look at the treasury. Don't take too little. I know. Su Xin felt a headache coming on. How could his daughter help an outsider cheat her own family? The next morning, Mo Xiao ate breakfast and went to the transaction building. He sold all the gains from the Demon Fire Planes and the spatial rings of the Shadow Cult powerhouses in the transaction building. He bought a total of more than 60 million credits. In addition to the origin crystals in the dozens of spatial rings, it added up to tens of millions. Mo Xiao wouldn't lack credits and origin crystals in a short period of time. He smiled, walked out of the transaction building, and went to the cultivation building. Open a level 6 cultivation room for me. Level 6. The staff was already very familiar with Mo Xiao. After all, Mo Xiao had already spent millions of credits in the cultivation room. Even third-year students might not be able to spend so many credits. Among the first-year students, other than him, only Yin Shui was this rich. However, hearing that Mo Xiao wanted to open a level 6 cultivation room, the two staff members were still surprised. It seems that Xiao has earned a lot recently. The staff member couldn't help but look at Mo Xiao a few more times, somewhat envious. A level 6 cultivation room increased one's cultivation speed by 7 times. 1 hour would cost 50,000 credits. This was not something that ordinary people could afford. Many 6th grade students would not use such an expensive cultivation room. I did earn a little. Mo Xiao smiled. Almost 100 million credits were enough for him to use for a long time. After arriving at the cultivation room, Mo Xiao took out a small mountain of origin crystals. Wisps of origin power drifted out of the origin crystal and merged into Mo Xiao's body. The original void path continued to be opened up. As the sky darkened, Mo Xiao returned to his house. Su Yin, Yin Shui, and Natsu Qi had already returned. Su Yin's face was full of smiles. She looked very happy. Mo Xiao was puzzled. What's wrong? Are you that happy? Su Yin held her head high and stuck out her chest. I have already cultivated the dark flame body, and the effect is not bad. My combat power is increasing very quickly. Oh. Mo Xiao nodded. His heart did not waver at all. It's all because of my good luck. However, Mo Xiao did not dare to say this out loud. Thank you, Xiao. Su Yin giggled and wrapped her arms around Mo Xiao's neck. Natsu Qi said, "Oh right, Xiao. I've sent people to look for the 2 students you mentioned yesterday." Mo Xiao was startled and looked at Natsu Qi. How is it? Natsu Qi frowned slightly. They left the school a few days ago and have not returned. I also sent people to investigate their families and found that they are orphans. Mo Xiao also frowned. If that's the case, then it will be very difficult to find them. After all, they were not fools. Mo Xiao's assassination failed, and they would definitely find out who was secretly watching him in the school. They would definitely be found if they returned to the school, so there was no point in coming back. Okay. Natsu Qi nodded slightly. Then forget it. Mo Xiao smiled and said, it would be a waste of time to continue looking. Time passed. It was soon the end of the school year. Many students gathered in the Battle Tower area square. The battle ranking was a very important part of the end-of-school test. If one could not reach the corresponding level in the Battle Tower, it might affect one's graduation. In serious cases, one might even be expelled. Akatsuki Academy, as one of the 3 big schools, had the best resources in the entire empire. Naturally, the students they wanted were geniuses. If one did not make much progress in the school year, then it was either because one was not talented enough or did not work hard enough. No matter what the problem was, it could only mean that one was not qualified to be a student of Akatsuki Academy. It was the end of the school year, so there were many people taking the test. Mo Xiaobai, Yin Shui, Natsuki, and Suin arrived at the square. From time to time, they heard exclamations from the crowd. Senior Lin Qingye is so strong. He actually reached the 58th level. That's the combat power of a 6 apertures cultivator. Senior Luo Qinghe is not weak either. She actually reached the 45th level with her initial 5 apertures cultivation. This unzipping is a first-year student? Hiss. He actually broke through to 2 apertures level 3 in 1 school year. His combat power is also impressive. He reached the 19th level. I'm afraid he has already cultivated his rare origin skill to perfection. Mo Xiaobai turned to look at the battle tower area. Challengers came out of the battle tower one by one, with some injuries on their bodies. After the powerful geniuses finished the test, they would cause the crowd to exclaim. When Mo Xiaobai's group of 4 walked over, the nearby students saw them and opened their eyes wide. They whispered to each other. It's Natsuki, Suin, Mo Xiaobai, and Yin Shui. They actually came together? Didn't you say nonsense? They've been living together for almost 3 months. I'm jealous. Many students expressed their jealousy. They also came to the battle tower today to take the test. I wonder how many levels they can reach. The 4 of them are super geniuses. They should be able to reach very high levels. That's right. Let's not talk about Natsuki and Suin. I heard that Yin Shui challenged most of the 3rd years in the martial arts practice field a while ago. She defeated most of the 3rd years. I heard about it too. It seemed to have caused quite a commotion. That's too abnormal. The 1st years are actually beating the 3rd years to the point where they can't even raise their heads. Yin Shui is already so strong. What about Mo Xiaobai? Everyone looked at each other in dismay. After all, Yin Shui had always been 2nd while Mo Xiaobai was 1st. Mo Xiaobai hasn't fought in a long time, right? His current strength might not be as good as Yin Shui's. That's true. I heard that Mo Xiaobai is only from an ordinary family. In terms of resources, he definitely can't compare to Yin Shui. She's the eldest daughter of the Yin family. Maybe this time, Yin Shui will be 1st. Everyone's discussion naturally reached the ears of Mo Xiaobai's group of 4. Suin looked at Mo Xiaobai and Yin Shui and chuckled. Xiaobai, did you hear that? You might not be as good as Xiao Shui. Mo Xiaobai rolled his eyes, indicating that he didn't want to speak. Yin Shui turned to look at Mo Xiaobai, her eyes flashing. I haven't seen you fight in a long time. This time, let me see how strong you are. Mo Xiaobai couldn't help but laugh. You'll be able to see it later. Don't be shocked when the time comes. Yin Shui couldn't help but snort softly, her small face carrying a hint of arrogance. Am I such a weak person? Mo Xiaobai shrugged. That's true. Suin stretched lazily and said with a smile, This time, I'm going to test the power of the dark flame body and break through to a higher level. Natsuki pursed her lips. I keep feeling that you're showing off. As she spoke, she glanced at Mo Xiaobai again. Her meaning was self-evident. Mo Xiaobai. How could he be unjustly implicated? He smiled helplessly. All right, let's go in. The sooner we finish the test, the sooner we can go back. They were all too famous in the school. Mo Xiaobai wasn't particularly happy to be watched by so many people. Okay, under the watchful eyes of the crowd, Mo Xiaobai and the other 3 entered the battle tower. Mo Xiaobai's vision blurred, and then he appeared on the 24th floor of the battle tower. This was Mo Xiaobai's result from last semester, But even so, he was still in first place. The second place was Yin Shui, who also took the test at the same time as him. She was now on the 23rd floor. As for the third place, he was only on the 19th floor. It was unzipping. His combat strength was about the level of 2 apertures. After Mo Xiaobai appeared, a giant tiger with gray bone armor appeared in front of him. It was a level 3 or 4 elite magical beast, the gray bone tiger. Roar! When the gray bone tiger saw Mo Xiaobai, a bloodthirsty light flashed in its eyes. It opened its bloody mouth and roared. Just then, a silver sword light pierced through its open mouth and came out from the back of its head. The gray bone tiger's roar came to an abrupt end. He didn't even let it finish its opening pose. Was he even human? Its corpse fell heavily to the ground. Mo Xiaobai didn't even look at the gray bone tiger that was trying to show off. He went to the next level, the 25th floor, the 26th floor. On the 30th floor, his opponent was a peak level 3 apertures icicle demon. Its strength was average, and he killed it with a casual swing of his sword. On the 31st floor, his opponent was a level 4 or 1 elite magical beast. Its strength was average. The 32nd floor, the 33rd floor. Soon, Mo Xiaobai arrived on the 40th floor, on the bluestone floor that was several kilometers in radius. In front of Mo Xiaobai, a giant figure slowly appeared. It was 5 meters tall and covered in black fur. Its eyes were blood red, and its breath was like a black fog. It was like an enlarged version of a black panther, a shadow panther, a peak level 4 boss magical beast. Mo Xiaobai felt the shadow panther's powerful aura and couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. This aura was already stronger than Chai Gon's, who had been strengthened by void energy. Roar! The shadow panther roared, and its body exploded into black fog. Behind Mo Xiaobai, a black fog silently appeared. Within the black fog, huge sharp claws wrapped in black light silently swiped at Mo Xiaobai's head. However, the moment the claws passed by Mo Xiaobai's head, Mo Xiaobai's figure shattered like an illusion. A silver sword light soared into the sky, slashing at the shadow panther's claws. Chi! Blood spurted out, and a hideous wound appeared on the shadow panther's claws. Roar! It roared in pain, and its body fell out of the black fog. It stood on 3 legs, and its blood-red eyes looked at Mo Xiaobai vigilantly and fearfully. Chapter 195. Mo Xiaobai calmly gazed at the shadow devil leopard in front of him, the corner of his mouth rising as he brandished the heavy sword in his hand. A silver sword array appeared beneath his feet. Void sword array. Clang! Hundreds of sword auras shot into the sky. The sword auras transformed into a long dragon that charged at the shadow devil leopard. The sharp sword winds twisted, blowing the shadow devil leopard's fur all over its body. Roar! It let out a low roar as its entire body was enveloped in darkness. Its body began to flicker and become somewhat distorted. Legendary origin skill, Darkness Distortion. All of the sword auras pierced through the flickering body. No blood flowed out, and no wounds were torn open. The sword auras landed heavily on the ground, leaving behind deep sword scars. By the time the sword auras dissipated, its body had solidified once more. When Mo Xiaobai saw this, a trace of astonishment flashed through his eyes. This origin skill was pretty good. It was actually able to dodge so many attacks. However, although the shadow devil leopard wasn't injured, its aura had weakened quite a bit. Evidently, this origin skill consumed a lot of energy. The shadow devil leopard once again roared at Mo Xiaobai. Its shadow transformed into numerous shadows that surrounded Mo Xiaobai. Although each shadow's form was distorted, they were all extremely powerful. Mo Xiaobai was surrounded by shadows, but he only smiled. Holy light. Origin power poured into the holy light ring, and a white radiance enveloped Mo Xiaobai's body. The sword aura shot out once more, and wherever the light passed, the shadows were shattered. Mo Xiaobai's body had already appeared beside the shadow devil leopard. Golden light wrapped around the heavy sword. Mo Xiaobai took a step forward and swung the heavy sword. Desolate sky, annihilation slash. Chi. The heavy sword slashed at the shadow devil leopard's waist, tearing its body apart. The berserk energy sent the shadow devil leopard flying backwards. Its body then slammed into the ground, its vitality fading away. The sound of a successful breakthrough came from the battle tower. Mo Xiaobai let out a small sigh of relief. Although this fellow was slightly stronger than a Tier 4, Level 1 boss, Missouri Xiaobai's improvement was too great. Mo Xiaobai's cultivation had already been raised to Level 7-3 apertures. A mere peak rank 4 leader was nothing in Mo Xiaobai's eyes. Mo Xiaobai continued and arrived at the 41st level. On the bluestone ground, his opponent slowly appeared. It was a gigantic tortoise with flames burning all over its body. The turtle shell was more than 6 meters tall and looked incomparably huge, like a huge red rock. Whoosh! The tortoise's ferocious head stared at Mo Xiaobai, the breath from its nostrils turning into flames. Even the air became hot. Rank 5, Level 1 Elite Demon, Lava Tortoise. Although it was a magic beast of the first rank of the 5th step, its strength wasn't even comparable to the dark magic leopard from before. Mo Xiaobai easily killed it. 42nd floor. 43rd floor. On the 44th floor, Mo Xiaobai encountered a rank 5, level 4 single-horn flame demon. Its combat strength was extremely powerful. Even if he used the Void Sword Array and the Desolate Sky Annihilation Slash, he would only be able to exchange blows with it for a short period of time. If it was a battle of attrition, Mo Xiaobai's Void Origin Path, which was close to 7 times stronger, would definitely not be a problem. Alternatively, he could use explosive trump cards like Flame Demon's Fury, Titan Spirit's Body, or Martial Revelation to easily kill this fellow. But there was no need for that. Yin Shuet definitely wouldn't be able to reach this floor. Mo Xiaobai thought for a moment, then decided that this was enough. After forcing the single-horn flame demon back with a single slash, Mo Xiaobai said, "I want to withdraw from the challenge." Ding! The challenger has withdrawn. The mechanical voice rang out, and Mo Xiaobai's vision blurred as he appeared outside the tower. He's out. It was unknown who shouted, but in the next moment, everyone looked at Mo Xiaobai. However, after seeing Mo Xiaobai's appearance, their expressions became strange, because Mo Xiaobai was just too neat. He wasn't injured at all, and his armor wasn't damaged. He didn't even sweat much. It looked as if he had just taken a stroll around the tower. The 2 tower protectors who had been planning to heal Mo Xiaobai were also stunned. Not being injured at all, they felt that their profession wasn't respected enough. "Student Xiaobai, you're not injured?" Mo Xiaobai saw the 2 tower protectors' strange expressions and was slightly taken aback. Then he laughed. "Yes, I understand my own strength quite well. I just fought to the best of my ability." The 2 guardians of the battle tower and the other students who were watching suddenly showed a look of understanding. This guy had probably met his match and decided to come out when he felt that he couldn't win. How slippery. The 2 tower protectors didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He didn't even try to challenge his opponent. This kind of situation was very rare in the tower. However, this was Mo Xiaobai after all, so they didn't say much. At this moment, someone suddenly exclaimed, "This ranking, how is this possible? Look at the leaderboard." Everyone turned to look at the leaderboard, and soon, everyone's eyes widened. Mo Xiaobai, who was ranked first on the first-year leaderboard, had reached the 44th floor. Everyone's eyes widened as they looked at the number of levels he had passed. It was as if a bolt from the blue had struck them dumb. Not only them, but even the 2 battle tower guardians were a little stunned at this moment. 44th floor. That was the guy who had defeated the opponent on the 43rd floor? That was a 5th stage, level 3 elite demon. Where was Mo Xiaobai? They turned to look at Mo Xiaobai. His cultivation was only at 3 apertured, level 7. Everyone's eyes were filled with shock. This guy, was he a monster? For a moment, the atmosphere fell into a strange silence. Mo Xiaobai saw everyone's strange gazes and heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, He had hidden a trick up his sleeve and didn't use his full strength. Otherwise, he could have broken through a few more floors. Looking at this situation, wouldn't it scare them until they fell sick? That was enough. He had to leave some trump cards for himself and be careful. Mo Xiaobai thought of the Void God cult and the Shadow cult, and he felt a little uncomfortable. At this moment, a light flashed, and Yin Shui came out of the tower. There were many injuries on her body, and her beautiful little face was a little pale. Seeing the injuries on Yin Shui's body, the female elven tower guardian immediately walked over. Yin Shui, let me treat you. A stream of water appeared in her hand and merged into Yin Shui's body. As the water merged in her body, Yin Shui's face regained its rosy color, and her breathing calmed down. She smiled faintly at the tower protector. Thank you. You're welcome. The injuries aren't serious. The tower protector shook her head with a smile. Mo Xiaobai saw that Yin Shui had recovered and smiled. How was it? Which floor did you break through? Yin Shui raised her little face, and a proud smile appeared on her face. 40th floor. When Mo Xiaobai heard this, he looked at her in surprise. Not bad. Unrivaled rank 4? 40th floor was for a peak rank 4 leader. A slightly more ordinary genius might not be a match for a leader of the same rank. Yin Shui's cultivation speed wasn't slow, and Mo Xiaobai still had to cultivate Void Origin path, so there wasn't much of a gap between them. She had also reached the 3 aperture rank 6 cultivation. Being able to break through to 40th floor with this cultivation was already very strong. Of course, there was no way she could compare to him. Void Origin Path, this legendary passive origin skill, was too terrifying. With this origin skill, he could continuously use epic-grade offensive origin skills. He had so much origin power that he couldn't use it all up. It wasn't fair to compare Yin Shui to him in the first place. There was no way to compare. Yin Shui could hear Mo Xiaobai's surprise, and the corners of her mouth curled up. What about you? Mo Xiaobai pointed at the leaderboard. See for yourself. Yin Shui turned around and looked at the leaderboard. The next moment, the smile on her face froze. Mo Xiaobai, 44th floor. She opened her eyes wide and stared blankly at Mo Xiaobai. Even a peak rank 4 leader isn't a match for you. How are you so strong? Mo Xiaobai smiled at the stunned Yin Shui. How is it? Have you been affected? Yin Shui's expression changed, and she snorted softly. How could I be shocked? All right. She admitted that she was a little shocked. But seeing the sneaky smile on Mo Xiaobai's face, she didn't want to admit it at all. Wait for me next time. I'll definitely break through level 40. She snorted angrily. While Mo Xiaobai and Yin Shui were chatting, the 2 battle tower guardians and the nearby students all had uncomfortable expressions. Can you please be more humane? Since when did the first years have freaks like you? You've already passed level 40, and you're still not satisfied? Can you stop showing off? I know you're amazing. They expressed that they had suffered a ton of damage in their hearts. Was this the difference between geniuses and mortals? The first years were all expressionless. They didn't want to speak, and they felt a little uncomfortable. Especially the delicate and pretty night creature youth, and Zipping, who looked like he had nothing to live for. He had been shocked. He had fallen into a mode of doubting life. The battle tower guardians looked at each other and couldn't help but laugh dryly. They were also geniuses back then, but they couldn't compare to Yin Shui at all, let alone Mo Xiaobai. Mo Xiaobai, Yin Shui, your talents are really strong. The Empire is lucky to have geniuses like you. Yes, with geniuses like you in the future, the Empire will be safer. The Purgatory level Void Domain, the Abyss level Void Domain, the various evil gods in Azure, the 3 forbidden areas, and so on. The 6 races were facing too many dangers. No matter how strong they were, there weren't enough powerhouses. Mo Xiaobai smiled. Teachers, you flatter us. It's still early for us. Yin Shui also smiled slightly. The 2 battle tower guardians nodded, very satisfied. He was so talented, but he wasn't arrogant or blindly arrogant. He always maintained a humble attitude. This was a good quality. He didn't forget his original goal, had a warm pillow, and was brave and determined. Only then could he continue to become stronger. Otherwise, he would either fade into the crowd, or take the wrong path, or even cause harm to Azure. There is no lack of such examples in history. If Mo Xiaobai and Yin Shui could maintain such attitudes, their future would be bright. While the two were talking, Natsu Ki also came out. Her face was a little pale, but she wasn't injured. She just used too much energy. After all, she was a body fundamentalist with the power of nature. Healing herself was basic. Sister Xiaodong, how is it? Mo Xiaobai and Yin Shui walked over. Natsu Ki smiled. Not bad. You should be satisfied. She turned to look at the leaderboard. Mo Xiaobai and Yin Shui also turned to look. On the 4th grade leaderboard, Natsu Ki's score was at the 60th level. The Battle Tower Guardians looked at Natsu Ki in shock. They couldn't help but smile bitterly. Natsu Ki is too strong. She just broke through to the 6th aperture, but she reached the 60th level. Yeah, the higher the cultivation, the greater the difference between each level. As a healer, Natsu Ki can be so strong. It's really embarrassing. The two felt a little bitter. Although they were the 7th aperture, they realized that they might not be as good as Natsu Ki in a real fight. Natsu Ki smiled gently. She didn't feel proud. She had heard too many of such praises. At this moment, a dark red flame appeared in front of the tower. The temperature became hot. A strong pressure emerged. Mo Xiaobai couldn't help but feel a tightness in his chest. But soon, the pressure dissipated along with the flame, revealing Su Yin's figure. Many of the students with lower cultivation bases looked pale as they stared at Su Yin in shock. Even the senior students were shocked beyond words. Su Yin had only revealed a wisp of her aura, but it was so terrifying. Su Yin's armor had many cracks. Her body was also covered in wounds. There were wisps of flames burning on her wounds. These flames seemed to contain the power of life. They were slowly healing Su Yin's wounds. She held a crimson spear. Her battle intent was monstrous. She looked like a war goddess. Yo-Yo, are you okay? Natsu Ki waved her right hand. Rays of green light merged into Su Yin's body. Su Yin smiled and shook her head. I'm fine. Her eyes were filled with excitement, and she was somewhat pleased with herself. Look at my ranking. Mo Xiaobai and the others turned to look. After seeing Su Yin's results, many people sucked in a breath of cold air. Hiss, 62. Natsu Ki blinked in surprise. Yo-Yo, you passed level 60? Su Yin put her hands on her hips. She was very proud. Humph. Of course. I'm the strongest. No one refuted Su Yin's words. She was indeed ridiculously strong to be able to reach level 62 when she had just opened 6 apertures. The guardians of the battle tower and many students looked at Su Yin with shock in their eyes. In the crowd, Tong Su, who was setting up a stall, the 6th grade students, Lin Xingye, who had not left after the test, and many 4th, 5th, and 6th grade geniuses all had complicated expressions. She was indeed too strong. Su Yin smiled and winked at Mo Xiaobai. I have to thank Xiaobai. If it weren't for Mo Xiaobai selling her the dark flame body, she wouldn't have been able to reach this level. When the others heard this, they were all stunned and looked at Mo Xiaobai with strange expressions. She still had to thank Mo Xiaobai? Su Yin was so strong. How could it be related to him? Could it be some kind of origin skill that the two of them cultivated together? Many girls thought in the wrong direction. Now, they were looking at Mo Xiaobai with a hint of envy in their eyes. Not only was this little brother so handsome, but his cultivation and talent were also so terrifying. Not only that, but he could also help people increase their combat strength. Wasn't this too tempting? Slurp. Chapter 196. Mo Xiaobai felt a chill run down his spine when he noticed that many girls were looking at him strangely. He felt that things were not as simple as they seemed. He smirked. The challenge is over. Let's go back. Natsu Ki nodded. Okay, let's go back. Su Yin stretched. Let's go back. I'm so tired. I want to eat. I want to have a good sleep. Yin Shui only nodded slightly. Okay. In the principal's office, the amiable old man Lu Yu listened to the report with an excited smile on his face. It's only been 1 year, and he's already reached the 44th level. His talent is really terrifying. He thought of something and grinned. Eh, no wonder the Mu, Yin, and Su families want to build a good relationship with that kid. As long as he can maintain this progress in the future, becoming a demigod won't be a problem. He might even become a true god. It was a pity that he did not have a granddaughter of the right age. Liu could not help but smack his lips. Opposite the office desk stood a night creature man with long silver hair and rimless glasses. He exuded a scholarly aura. Han Xiang, Akatsuki Academy's Academic Affairs Director. Han Xiang saw how excited the old principal was and could not help but smile. He could understand Liu Yu's feelings. Azure was under too much pressure. They needed a true god. He smiled and continued speaking. Suyin from the Su family has also improved greatly this time. Her cultivation has just reached 6 chakra, but she actually reached the 62nd level. What? Liu Yu's eyes widened in surprise. 6 chakra cultivation and reached the 62nd level? How did that last Suyin improve so much? Did the Su family give her some epic origin skill crystal again? Han Xiang said. According to Suyin, it seems to be related to Mo Xiaobai. It's related to that kid again. Liu Yu's expression was very strange. Although he had not seen Mo Xiaobai before, the talent that this kid displayed was really strong. Moreover, he did not look like someone who was easy to deal with. He had participated in the Murloc's rebellion and the Undead's calamity. Now, he even helped Suyin to increase her combat power? Liu thought for a moment, then shook his head slightly. Forget it. Let the Su family deal with this matter as they see fit. We won't interfere. Han Xiang nodded. Okay, right. The Void God cult must be keeping an eye on that kid, Mo Xiaobai. I must ensure his safety in school. I understand. All right, you may leave. Liu nodded and let Han Xiang leave. After Han Xiang left, the office fell into silence. Liu rubbed his forehead. You're really amazing. I hope you can grow up quickly. He took out the communication crystal and contacted Su Xian of the Su family. When they returned to the house, Natsuki made a table full of delicious food to celebrate the good progress that the 4 of them had made in the school year. After that, the 4 of them returned to their rooms to pack their things. There were only 3 days left before the holidays. In Mo Xiaobai's room, he tidied it up. Because he had the space ring, it was easy to pack things up. Except for the things that he needed to use these few days, he just needed to put everything else into the space ring. Just as he threw a history book that described the disputes between the kings of the human race in the Golden Age into the space ring, he thought of a problem. Meng-sensei hadn't been back for a long time. This semester, he didn't seem to be back. He heard that he wouldn't find his brother. Could something have happened? Mo Xiaobai's expression was a little strange. He took out the communication crystal and planned to contact Meng Cheng. Unsurprisingly, he still couldn't get in touch. Mo Xiaobai frowned slightly. Could something have happened? However, he didn't know where Meng-sensei went. Moreover, it was possible that he was studying the crown of the Meng King with his brother. Mo Xiaobai shook his head and didn't think about it anymore. Bloody Moor. In an open space in the Blood Spirit Forest, several tents were set up. In one of the tents, Meng Cheng looked down at the other half of the ancient book, his hands trembling slightly. This can't be true. How is this possible? How could the ancestor of my Meng family do such a thing? He then turned his head to look at the crown and staff beside him. His eyes were filled with fear. Next to Meng Cheng, Meng Ding's eyes flashed with a fanatical light. So that's how it is. No wonder we couldn't figure out the function of this crown after studying it for so long. Blood King, the ancestor of my Meng family, actually had such a powerful force. He murmured in a low voice and reached out to touch a formation on the yellowed page. His eyes flashed with a fanatical light. So this is how Bloody Moor came to be. The shadow of the gods was right. The power of the gods exists in every corner of Azure. Hearing Meng Ding's murmur, Meng Cheng's body shook. He turned his head and looked at Meng Ding. Big brother, what is the shadow of the gods? Meng Ding grinned. The Shadow of the Gods is a great organization that looks for the power left behind by the gods. I plan to recommend you to the organization later, but now, with this document, you can directly enter the organization. Mengxing opened his eyes wide and looked at Meng Ding. This document? What are you going to do? Meng Ding raised the corner of his mouth and revealed a fanatical smile. Of course, it's to resurrect our ancestor. Let the Meng family's king come back to this world. What? Big brother, are you crazy? This is the Blood King. The Bloody Moor has become like this because of the Blood King. If we really resurrect him, Azure will be in chaos. Mengxing looked at the fanatical smile on Meng Ding's face with a look of disbelief and felt a chill in his heart. This Meng Ding made him feel strange. Meng Ding's smile slowly disappeared when he heard this. He looked at Mengxing. Even if Azure is in chaos, it's still our ancestor. Isn't it better for us to follow the glory of our ancestor and rule the world? How can you say such a thing? Mengxing opened his eyes wide and stared at the familiar face. How did you become like this? What happened when you were out? Meng Ding did not answer this question. He just looked at Mengxiang with a smile. Brother, come on, join me. Let's resurrect our ancestor together. At that time, we will also have a share of our ancestors' glory. Our Meng family will rule the world. Mengxing shook his head firmly. No, we can't resurrect the Blood King. It's too dangerous. Meng Ding's face suddenly turned cold when he heard this. Are you going to stop me? As soon as his voice fell, a sharp sword slashed from outside the tent. Chi! Blood spurted out, and Mengxiang felt pain in his right hand. The next moment, his right hand was cut off from the shoulder. The pain made his face pale. The origin power in his body surged and sealed the spurting blood. His body tensed up, and he turned his head to look outside the tent with a vigilant expression. Outside the tent, Fang Shiji, Li Lianxing, and the others were all there. Fang Shiji was holding a long sword. He was the one who launched the attack earlier. Meng Ding also came back to his senses and looked at Fang Shiji coldly. Old Fang, what are you doing? This is my brother. Fang Shiji glanced at Mengxiang indifferently, then said, Don't worry. I know what I'm doing. He's a little resistant now. I just injured him a little to prevent him from doing anything harmful to us. Meng Ding sighed when he heard this. Okay, there are plenty of ways to recover a broken arm. Hearing their conversation, Mengxing's face turned cold and his eyes flashed. You're all members of the Shadow of the Gods? Li Lianxing smiled and said, Brother Cheng, the Shadow of the Gods is much stronger than you think. Even a Void God cult might not be stronger than us. Li Lianxing wanted to say something, but Fang Shiji lowered his head and scolded. Don't talk too much. Li Lianxing laughed dryly and said no more. Meng Ding turned to Mengxiang and said softly, Brother, join us. Brother, join us. We're looking for the power of the gods. When the time comes, no void demon will be a match for us. Mengxiang sneered when he heard this. You're dreaming. A silver-white stone appeared in his left hand. On the stone, complex runes flashed. In the next moment, his body disappeared from the spot. After he disappeared, everyone was stunned and came back to their senses. Damn it, he has a space travel stone. Fang Shiji's cold face changed drastically. We were too careless. The others also had ugly expressions. Meng Ding said slowly, Go after him. The space travel stone can only travel within 1,000 miles. This is bloody wilderness. He's seriously injured. He can't run too far. Let's go. They left the tent without looking back. On a plain 800 miles away from the camp, a silver light flashed and Mengxing appeared. He staggered a few steps and fell to the ground. The next moment, he hurriedly got up. He turned his head to determine the direction, then ran towards the east. Go to the desolate Blood City. Find the desolate Blood Army. We can't let them revive the Blood King. He gritted his teeth and looked terrible. He had to get back to the desolate Blood City before those people found him. After reading the ancient books, he knew that if the Blood King was really revived, he would be a huge threat to Azure. 3 days later, at the Akatsuki Academy. Let's go home. It's the holidays. Suyin ran out of the house with a smile and turned to look at Natsuki, Yin Shui, and Mo Xiaobai. Natsuki closed the door, and the four of them left the dormitory area. Then, under Mo Xiaobai and Yin Shui's conflicted expressions, Natsuki happily took out his motorcycle. To be honest, if it was possible, Imo Xiaobai actually felt that it would be fine to take the special train back. But a few days ago, Imo Xiaobai and the others' performance at the Battle Tower had been discussed countless times in the school. Especially Imo Xiaobai, who was called the most talented student since the establishment of the Akatsuki Academy. They were already very famous, but now, almost everyone knew about them. If they took the special train, they would definitely be seen as a rare animal. After thinking about it, although it was a bit dangerous to take Natsuki's motorcycle, it was at least comfortable. Imo Xiaobai tactfully suggested that someone else drive, but Natsuki rejected him without hesitation. He could only helplessly sit in the back seat and fix his seat. Sit tight. The old driver is starting. Natsuki's eyes lit up, and he smiled as he started the motorcycle. Under Imo Xiaobai and Yin Shui's terrified gazes, the motorcycle rushed out of the academy. Chapter 197. You're back. Mu Yuzhu sat on the sofa and smiled when she saw Imo Xiaobai enter. Yeah. Imo Xiaobai patted Lil Red's head and looked around. Where's Dad? He went to the Adventurers Guild. Mu Yuzhu stood up and smiled. I'll go cook. You rest first. Okay. Imo Xiaobai took out a scarlet red mushroom from his spatial ring. Suddenly, the temperature in the air rose by a lot. This was the magic fire mushroom that Imo Xiaobai collected from the magic fire plains. It was a rare rank 3 herb that contained powerful fire elemental energy. Little Red's eyes widened when he saw the magic fire mushroom. He raised his head and stared at the magic fire mushroom in Imo Xiaobai's hand and hissed. Imo Xiaobai looked at Little Red's eager expression and couldn't help but find it funny. He waved the magic fire mushroom left and right, and Little Red's head also moved left and right. As if he could see that Imo Xiaobai was teasing him, Little Red couldn't help but make a sound of dissatisfaction. Imo Xiaobai casually threw the magic fire mushroom into Little Red's mouth. After eating the magic fire mushroom, Little Red's body turned slightly red. He slowly found a place to rest and began to absorb. Imo Xiaobai looked at Little Red and smiled in his heart. Last time, Imo Xiaobai left a lot of transcendent grade materials, and some of them were obviously in Little Red's stomach. Little Red was now at the peak of rank 3, and his strength might not be much weaker than Mou and Mu Yuzhu. If he swallowed this magic fire mushroom, he might be able to break through to rank 4. However, it would be more difficult to evolve from the elite to the leader rank. Imo Xiaobai felt that it was fine. As long as he had enough treasures, it shouldn't be difficult to evolve Little Red. He didn't think too much and returned to his room. In the evening, Mu Yuzhu had finished cooking and placed it on the table. Imo had also returned from the Adventurers Guild. After entering, he saw Imo Xiaobai and immediately revealed a smile. Oh, isn't this Akatsuki's top student? You're back. Imo Xiaobai chuckled and took out the Akatsuki medal. That's right, Akatsuki's top student. Are you jealous? Are you jealous? Imo's face stiffened, and she rolled her eyes. He scolded, jealous my ass. You're still my son. At this moment, Mu Yuzhu glared at Imo. It's almost time to eat. What are you waiting for? Go wash your hands. Imo immediately ran to the bathroom. Mu Yuzhu looked at Lil Red, who was lying on the ground, and her eyes widened in surprise. Xiaobai, did you feed Little Red? Imo Xiaobai smiled and nodded. Yes, I fed it some fire-type herbs. Mu Yuzhu seemed to have understood something. She frowned and looked at Imo Xiaobai. What kind of herbs did you feed him? Seeing Mu Yuzhu's dangerous gaze, Imo Xiaobai laughed dryly. It's nothing good. It's just a rare rank 3 magic fire mushroom. You wastrel. Mu Yuzhu's eyes widened in anger. You actually fed a rare tier 3 herb to Little Red just like that. Her heart ached so much that she frowned. Imo Xiaobai scratched his head. Anyway, I have a lot here. Imo Xiaobai took out a space ring and handed it to Mu Yuzhu. All right, there's also a gift for you and Dad. Imo walked out of the bathroom. When he heard Imo Xiaobai's words, he immediately ran over. Oh, Xiaobai brought back a gift? Let me see what it is. Mu Yuju couldn't do anything about it. She couldn't help but roll her eyes. Mo took the space ring and glanced at it. The next moment, his body shook and his eyes widened. Oh my God! This. Seeing Mo's shocked expression, Mu Yuju was a little confused. She snatched the space ring from Mo and looked at it too. Then, she couldn't help but exclaim. So many. There were too many things in the space ring. There were blue, purple, and even golden flashes. The worst was a rare rank item. There were even legendary rank items. This shocked Mo and Mu Yuju. The two of them looked at Mo Xiaobai with a strange expression. Mu Yuju couldn't help but ask, Xiaobai, did you do something strange? What strange thing? Mo Xiaobai was stunned and a little confused. For example, you don't want to work hard anymore and find a female body fundamentalist with a high cultivation. Mu Yuju's words made her feel a little awkward. However, she had to be careful. Mo Xiaobai. Hearing Mu Yuju's words, his head was full of question marks. Was she his biological mother? Did she think that he, Mo Xiaobai, would live off a woman? How is that possible? Mo Xiaobai immediately said, Don't worry. Don't worry. I've earned all of these through my own efforts. I definitely didn't find any female expert. At this point, Mo Xiaobai thought of Natsu Ki and Su Yin's faces. Cough. What the hell was he thinking? It was impossible for him to live off a woman. Hearing Mo Xiaobai's promise, Mo and Mu Yuju finally relaxed. Mo Xiaobai never lied to them. Let's see what these are. Mo and Mu Yuju didn't even eat. They happily looked at the things Mo Xiaobai gave them. Mu Yuju took out a legendary origin skill crystal and placed it on her forehead. Then, she revealed an excited expression. It's a fire element origin skill. Mo Xiaobai nodded. Yes, I got this from the Demon Fire Plains. It's called Demon Fire Explosion. It's suitable for you. My son is so good. Mu Yuju immediately hugged Mo Xiaobai and kissed him on the forehead. Mo Xiaobai was extremely embarrassed. He was an adult, not a child. How could she kiss him? Mo felt sour. There are no more legendary origin skill crystals? Just one. Mo Xiaobai saw Mo's sour expression and laughed awkwardly. Yes, the Demon Fire Plains didn't produce any attribute-less legendary origin skill crystals. Mo's expression instantly became dejected. His strength was originally slightly weaker than Mu Yuju's, and Mu Yuju had learned a legendary origin skill. Wouldn't he be suppressed forever? He felt like he had nothing left to live for. Mo Xiaobai looked at Mo's hopeless face and scratched his head. I'll look for more for you next time. There should be some. However, I also found a few rare origin skill crystals that are suitable for you, Dad. Apart from the legendary origin skill crystals, Mo Xiaobai also found a set of rare origin skill crystals for speed, defense, and attack. Mo and Mu Yuju each had a set. Although legendary origin skills were good, Mu Yuju still hadn't completely transformed her origin power into flawless origin power. She could only use them once at most. Rare grade origin skills were the most suitable for the two of them right now. Mo and Mu Yuju's eyes lit up and they smiled. They understood the logic behind this. Seeing their smiles, Mo Xiaobai said, This set of rare origin skill crystals isn't easy to find. I asked a friend to help me find them. Even in the Akatsuki Academy's trading hall, rare origin skill crystals were extremely rare. Mo Xiaobai had asked Natsuki, Su Yin, and Yin Shui to help him find them from their house. Xiaobai, these flawless medicines are. Mo cried out in surprise. He discovered that there were many flawless medicines in the spatial ring. There were cultivation medicines, battle medicines, healing medicines, and all sorts of other medicines. When Mo Xiaobai heard this, he said, Oh, these medicines were given to me by Senior Natsuki. She's the senior who came to our house last time. She's a very powerful alchemist. Given? When they heard this, Mo and Mu Yuju's expressions became complicated. So many precious, flawless medicines were given away, just like that. Little White, you've really chosen to walk on this path? Mo looked at Mo Xiaobai. However, she felt that there was a trace of envy on his face. When Mo Xiaobai heard this, he was stunned. Sister Xiaotong really didn't ask him for credits or anything. His medicines seemed to have all been given to him by Sister Xiaotong. When he thought of this, Mo Xiao Bai's eyes widened. Shock. He couldn't have been raised by Senior Natsu Ki, right? But why did he feel a bit happy inside? This wasn't right. When they saw that Mo Xiao Bai was stunned, Mo Yu and Mu Yuzhu looked at each other and smiled meaningfully. Mu Yuzhu smiled and said, "We saw that senior of yours last time. She's really quite good." Yes, yes. When Mo Xiao Bai saw the expressions on their faces, he didn't know why, but he felt that it was a bit strange. He didn't think too much about it. You guys can continue looking. Mo Yu and Mu Yuzhu didn't talk about this anymore. The two of them continued looking. Apart from medicines and origin skill crystals, there were also 3 apertured rare-grade armor and weapons. There were also many rare-grade, and legendary-grade materials. Mo Xiao Bai even placed 2 8-apertured single-use origin skill talismans, 4 7-apertured single-use origin skill talismans, and 2 spatial stones. These are what Mo Xiao Bai had exchanged from Su Yin. He didn't know what Su Yin had said to the Su clan, but in any case, he had used the epic-grade origin skill crystal to exchange for 10 8-apertured single-use origin skill talismans, 27 apertured single-use origin skill talismans, and 5 spatial stones. Even Mo Xiao Bai felt that the Su clan had suffered a loss. Was this how a large clan did business? Mo Xiao Bai was shocked. As expected of a large clan, their business was huge. When Mo Yu and Mu Yuzhu saw these origin skill talismans and spatial stones, their expressions completely changed. Although their cultivation bases were low, they knew how precious these things were. Every one of them was equivalent to a life. Mo Xiao Bai casually took out half a dozen of such precious items. Mo Yu looked at Mo Xiao Bai with a complicated expression. "Xiao Bai, I'll go buy some tonics for you later." The two of them were even more certain that their son had been taken care of by those 2 seniors. Only people from such a large clan could take out such treasures, right? Mo Xiao Bai. When he heard Mo Yu's words, his head was full of question marks. "My body is fine. Why would I need tonics? You should listen to your father on this matter." Mu Yuzhu also spoke up for him. When Mo Xiao Bai heard Mu Yuzhu's words, he was even more confused. What was wrong with him? Chapter 198. After packing up, Mo Yu and Mu Yuzhu were very satisfied. After putting away the gifts, the 3 of them had dinner. Then, Mo Xiao Bai returned to his room. The next morning, Mo Xiao Bai came to the living room and Mo Yu smiled. "Xiao Bai, you're up? Here, I bought these for you." He threw a bag of things over. Mo Xiao Bai caught it. "What's this?" He looked down at it. Strong Vajra pill, kidney nourishing pill, and so on. Mo Xiao Bai. What the F asterisk CK? What the hell is this? He raised his head in confusion. Mo Yu smiled brightly at Mo Xiao Bai. "Don't worry, these are the best." Mo Xiao Bai's head was full of question marks. This guy really went to buy supplements? This caught him off guard. Why did he have to nourish his kidneys? No way, right? His dad didn't think he was losing out, did he? Besides, even if he wanted to lose out with the recovery effect of the breath of life, he wouldn't lose out. Wasn't the breath of life better than these damn things? "Put it away," Mo Yu said with a smile. Mo Xiao Bai looked at Mo Yu's smiling face and sighed his heart, but he still put it away. Forget it, it was his dad's good intentions anyway. Although he didn't need it, he still put it away. Seeing Mo Xiao Bai sigh faintly and put away the tonics, Mo Yu's heart ached a little. It seemed that he was really tired. In the next few days, Mo Xiao Bai stayed at home and didn't go out. He woke up in the morning to complete his daily cultivation. After that, he was very free. There was nothing to do. Mo Xiao Bai read books and watched entertainment programs. Not everyone was suitable for cultivation. The number of body fundamentalists with 1 aperture and above was not high compared to the total number of people in the 6 families. Most people still lived ordinary lives. Games, entertainment, and so on were quite rich. Of course, there were also celebrities. However, these celebrities were not as pretty as Yin Shui, Natsu Ki, and Su Yin. Did he really want to look at the 3 of them? Mo Xiao Bai usually watched funny entertainment programs to relax. As for Mo Xiao Bai and Mu Yuzhu, They didn't venture into the void domain for the past few days. Now that Mo Xiaobai had returned, they relaxed at home and cooked for him. Mo Yu and Mu Yuzhu had been cultivating the flawless elementary refinement technique during this period of time and had yet to complete the transformation of their force. After all, there wasn't a cultivation room like the one in the Akatsuki Academy, so cultivating here was slower. However, the foundation was there, and it would only take a few months. Mo Xiaobai also wrote down the mid-grade origin refining technique. Once they broke through to the fourth chakra, they would be able to use the mid-grade origin refining technique to cultivate. 6 days later, in the morning, Mo Xiaobai was reading when his communication crystal vibrated. He took it out and saw that it was a call from Yin Shui. "Hello, Xiao Shui." Yin Shui's unique voice came from the crystal. "Want to go out for a walk?" Hearing Yin Shui's words, Mo Xiaobai was stunned for a moment before he smiled. "Sure, it's quite boring at home anyway." He had only just found out that the Yin family was also in Northern Blue. In other words, Yin Shui was in the same city as him. "Then I'll come find you," Yin Shui said softly and then cut off the communication. Mo Xiaobai glanced at the communication crystal that was cut off and smiled. He put down his book and got up. He chose a nice casual outfit and went to the bathroom to tidy up his hair. When he came to the living room, Mo Yu and Mu Yuzhu, who were watching TV, were stunned. "Oh, you're dressed up? Are you going out?" Mu Yuzhu blinked. "I'm going out with a friend." "Going on a date?" Mo Yu said with a mischievous smile. Mo Xiaobai rolled his eyes. "He's just a good friend." "Is it the two seniors from last time?" "No, it's the other one. She's in the same year as me." Hearing this, Mo Yu and Mu Yuzhu looked at each other with strange expressions. "There's another one? Xiaobai, are you a scumbag?" Mu Yuzhu's eyes became a little dangerous. "Ahem," Mo Xiaobai coughed dryly and said seriously, "How is that possible? We're just going out for a walk." Scumbag, no doubt." Mo Yu nodded and looked at Mo Xiaobai with disdain. Mo Xiaobai was speechless. "I might bring her back later." Mo Xiaobai thought about the last time he came back. Sister Xiaodong and Sister Yin came to his house to look for him, but they didn't bring her along. She seemed to be a little angry. "I'll bring her back to sit with me later." Hearing Mo Xiaobai's words, Mo Yu and Mu Yuzhu's expressions became even more strange. "Xiaobai, you brought 3 girls home in a row. As your mother, I have mixed feelings. Her son seemed to be a scumbag. What should she do? Waiting online. It was quite urgent. Should she break his leg? But she couldn't bear to." Mu Yuzhu's feelings were quite complicated. Mo Yu was envious and didn't want to say anything. Mo Xiaobai was about to explain that he was just friend with the 3 of them. Yin Shui contacted him. Mo Xiaobai picked up the call. "Xiao Shui, you're here?" At the door, a cold voice came from the communication crystal. "Wait, I'll come down now." After ending the call, Mo Xiaobai waved at Mo Yu and Mu Yuzhu. "I'll go out first." Then he walked out of the room under Mo Yu and Mu Yuzhu's disdainful gaze. Mo Xiaobai came to the entrance of the neighborhood and saw Yin Shui at first glance. Whether it was her appearance, figure, or temperament, Yin Shui was like a crane in a flock of chickens on the road. She wore a light blue shirt and jeans. Her short black hair fluttered in the wind. She looked as fresh as the clear sky. The passers-by would turn around to look at her from time to time. The few security guards at the entrance of a neighborhood were stunned when they saw Yin Shui. However, her small face was expressionless and looked very cold. Mo Xiaobai smiled and walked out of the neighborhood. "Xiao Shui." Yin Shui turned around. After seeing Mo Xiaobai, a smile flashed in her ice-blue eyes and the corners of her mouth rose slightly. "You're here." Seeing Yin Shui's smile that was like a snow lotus blooming, many men felt as if they could hear their hearts shattering. What the F***CK? This crystal doll-like girl actually smiled. Which man could make her smile? Their eyes turned green with envy. They turned around and looked in the direction of Mo Xiaobai. After seeing Mo Xiaobai's handsome face, many people lost their temper. He was too handsome. They couldn't compare to him. On the contrary, many girls looked at Mo Xiaobai with sparkling eyes. The security guards at the entrance of the neighborhood widened their eyes slightly. They naturally knew Mo Xiao Bai. However, they clearly remembered that there were two extremely beautiful girls waiting for Mo Xiao Bai last time. Why was there another one today? Scumbag. All the security guards' eyes were green as they looked at Mo Xiao Bai with envy. As a top student of Akatsuki Academy, he was actually such a scumbag. This was too much. You're dressed beautifully today. This outfit suits you very well. Mo Xiao Bai smiled as he looked at Yin Shue's outfit and praised her. Yin Shui raised her chin and the corners of her mouth rose slightly. Am I not beautiful normally? How could that be? Xiao Shui is beautiful at all times. It's just that today's style is different from when you were in school. Mo Xiao Bai smiled as he replied. Yin Shui snorted and said, Where are we going? Let's go to the mall first. Baiyang Mall is over there. Okay. Yin Shui nodded. The two of them left the entrance of the neighborhood side by side and walked towards Baiyang Mall. When they reached the mall, Mo Xiao Bai thought of something and pulled Yin Shui's hand. Follow me. Yin Shui blushed. Just as she was about to break free, Mo Xiao Bai pulled her away. Where are we going? Yin Shui couldn't help but ask. Mo Xiao Bai smiled and brought Yin Shui to a milk tea shop. Sorry for making you wait at the entrance of the neighborhood. I'll treat you to milk tea. Yin Shui was stunned and then smiled. I want strawberry. Mo Xiao Bai smiled and ordered milk tea from the milk tea lady who was secretly sizing him up. The milk tea lady blushed. She came back to her senses and started working. Actually, Mo Xiao Bai didn't have any special feelings towards milk tea. It was just that when Nat Su Qi and Su Yin came last time, they liked to drink it. Mo Xiao Bai also drank a cup. Yin Shui liked sweets more than the two of them. She would probably like milk tea too. That was why Mo Xiao Bai brought her here. Soon, the milk tea was ready. Mo Xiao Bai took 2 cups, inserted the straw, and handed 1 cup to Yin Shui. Yin Shui took the milk tea and took a sip. A satisfied smile appeared on her cold face. Mo Xiao Bai couldn't help but laugh. Yin Shui blushed when she saw the smile on Mo Xiao Bai's face. She widened her eyes and glared at him. What are you laughing at? Nothing. I just think that every time you eat something sweet, you look especially cute. This wasn't the first time. Even in the school cafeteria, this girl would look so satisfied when she ordered something sweet. It was a huge contrast to her usual cold appearance. It was especially interesting. Yin Shui's expression froze. She glared at Mo Xiao Bai and forced herself to keep a straight face. She walked in front, leaving the back of her head to Mo Xiao Bai. Mo Xiao Bai saw Yin Shui throwing a tantrum and only smiled. He slowly walked beside Yin Shui. Even though Yin Shui's personality was like an ice cube, she was still a girl. The instinct to shop seemed to be engraved in her DNA. Even she couldn't erase it. They spent the entire day shopping in the entire mall. Clothes, cosmetics, accessories, etc. They shopped all over. Even though Yin Shui didn't buy much, Mo Xiao Bai still felt a little tired. The sky outside gradually turned yellow. Mo Xiao Bai and Yin Shui passed by a doll store. Seeing the dolls behind the display window, Yin Shui couldn't help but steal a few glances. Her icy blue eyes glowed. However, perhaps because Mo Xiao Bai was beside her, she didn't want to look too much. She immediately looked straight ahead. Mo Xiao Bai saw this and smiled to himself. He turned and walked into the doll store. Chapter 199. Why are you going in? Yin Shui blinked when she saw Mo Xiao Bai walk into the doll store. She quickly followed him. Mo Xiao Bai glanced at Yin Shui, who was secretly looking around. He smiled and said, Nothing, I just want to buy a doll. Yin Shui's eyes lit up when she heard this. Then, she pursed her red lips. You're already so old, yet you still want to buy a doll. Aren't you embarrassed? Yeah, you're already so old, yet you don't know how to be embarrassed. Mo Xiao Bai looked straight at Yin Shui. His eyes were full of smiles. Yin Shui. At first, she refused to admit defeat and stared back at Mo Xiao Bai. Then, her eyes flashed, and she quietly looked away. Why are you looking at me like that? Nothing. Mo Xiao Bai shook his head. Then, he began to walk around the doll store. There were quite a lot of people in the doll store. Most of them were children. Of course, There were also young people who were about the same age as Mo Xiaobai, or even older. These older men and women were all in pairs. Looking at how they were holding hands, it was obvious that they were very close. When Mo Xiaobai and Yin Shui walked in, most of the people looked over. After all, Mo Xiaobai was too handsome and Yin Shui was too beautiful. Both of them had high cultivation levels, so their aura was naturally different from ordinary people. Just by standing there, they could attract everyone's attention. Mom, this big sister is so pretty." A little boy with a runny nose tugged at his mother's hand and shouted. Instantly, everyone turned to look at the little boy. The boy's mother was a little embarrassed. Her face was a little red. She smiled apologetically at the customers. Everyone smiled kindly back. Yin Shui pursed her lips and did not say anything. Mo Xiaobai looked at Yin Shui and smiled. "Even kids think you're pretty." Yin Shui rolled her eyes, indicating that she didn't want to talk. "Hey, handsome, are you buying a doll for your girlfriend? You two have such a good relationship." A rabbit-human female attendant walked over and said. As she spoke, she looked at Yin Shui enviously. "Isn't this little brother's looks too good? If he could be her boyfriend, she was willing to sacrifice 10 years of her life." However, looking at Yin Shui's beautiful face and cold and noble temperament, she could only silently shake her head in her heart. A boy of this quality was not something she could imagine. Hearing this, Mo Xiaobai winked at Yin Shui with a teasing look. Yin Shui blushed and glared at Mo Xiaobai. Then, she said to the waiter, "What's the matter? He's not my boyfriend." No, the rabbit-human girl, who was a little disappointed, was stunned. Then, the way she looked at Mo Xiaobai changed again. Could it be? There was still a chance? Her eyes flashed. She gritted her teeth and said boldly, "Does this little brother really like dolls? Why don't we exchange contact details? When we have new products in the store, I can contact you at any time." Just as she finished speaking, she suddenly felt her body turn cold. It was as if the temperature had dropped. Her body trembled slightly. She turned to look around, a little confused. "What's going on? Why did the temperature drop suddenly?" Mo Xiaobai looked at the confused rabbit-human girl, then looked at the expressionless Yin Shui and grinned. He said, "No need, I have someone I like." As he said that, he glanced at Yin Shui. Yin Shui could no longer maintain her cold expression. She pursed her lips and looked away. The rabbit-human girl was stunned. When she saw the interaction between Mo Xiaobai and Yin Shui, the rabbit-human girl was disappointed again. So this handsome little brother was chasing this little sister? Sigh. I knew it. How could I have such a romantic encounter? What's going on? Why is the temperature back to normal? Is there something wrong with the air conditioner in the mall today? The rabbit-human girl's head was full of question marks. She didn't think too much about it and just smiled awkwardly. If that's the case, then what kind of dolls do you want to buy? Mo Xiaobai glanced at Yin Shui and found that Yin Shui was staring at a white puppy doll in the distance. The doll was only a few centimeters long and was fluffy and cute. Mo Xiaobai smiled and pointed at the puppy doll. "That one, give me a pair." Yin Shui saw Mo Xiaobai pointing at the puppy doll and realized that she had been staring at it for too long. Her pretty face turned even redder. She lowered her head awkwardly and didn't want to say anything. The rabbit-human girl looked at Yin Shui enviously and then nodded with a smile. "Okay, I'll wrap it up for you." Soon, the rabbit-human girl handed the wrapped dolls to Mo Xiaobai. Mo Xiaobai and Yin Shui walked out of the doll store. Mo Xiaobai smiled and handed one of the dolls to Yin Shui. "This is for you." Yin Shui looked at the doll that Mo Xiaobai handed over with a hint of desire in her icy blue eyes. However, she still pursed her lips. "Why are you giving it to me? I bought two, of course we'll each get one." Mo Xiaobai looked at Yin Shui speechlessly. "Why else would I buy two of the same? This is a gift." Yin Shui pursed her lips and reached out to take the doll. Then, she quickly put the doll into her space ring. Mo Xiaobai looked at the thief-like Yin Shui and felt a little amused. Actually, there were quite a lot of young people who liked dolls. He didn't know why Yin Shui was so sneaky. Maybe it was because it didn't match her ice-cold personality? Mo Xiaobai shook his head and didn't think much of it. "Okay, I've told my parents before. Let's go to my house for dinner tonight." "Go to your house for dinner? Yin Shui paused and was a little confused. Yes, I told my parents that I wanted to come out with you. They're quite curious about you. How about it? Do you want to meet them? Mo Xiaobai smiled and said. Yin Shui was silent for a moment, then nodded lightly. Okay, then let's go. It's almost time for dinner. The two of them started to move downstairs. In a few corners outside the Baiyang shopping center, a few people with hidden faces, dressed in black robes and hoods, were moving slowly. When the people nearby saw them, they couldn't help but look at them curiously. In the shopping center, most of them were wearing casual clothes. Very few of them were wearing equipment. Of course, it wasn't like they didn't exist. Therefore, although the people were curious, they didn't say much. One of the black-robed people glanced at the screen in his hand. On the screen, it was Mo Xiaobai and Yin Shui. His cold, black eyes flashed with a trace of violence and fanaticism. It's him, the enemy of my god and my sect. My god has left a mark on him. I can feel it. His voice was a little hoarse and filled with murderous intent. Get ready to move. Everyone moved quickly and surrounded Mo Xiaobai and Yin Shui. Mo Xiaobai, who had just walked out of the shopping center, suddenly stopped. He looked around and frowned slightly. What's wrong? Yin Shui turned to look at Mo Xiaobai. Mo Xiaobai said softly, Someone's here. They're coming for us. Enemy? Yin Shui, who had a slight smile on her face, instantly turned cold. There was a chill in her eyes. Yes. Mo Xiaobai nodded. Within a radius of a few hundred meters, there were 6 dark gray lines of misfortune slowly approaching. Mo Xiaobai had been playing with Yin Shui before and didn't notice it. Otherwise, he would have noticed it earlier. He shook his head and stopped thinking about it. It was just dark gray. It wasn't much of a threat to him. However, this was a busy shopping center. If a fight really broke out, many people would die. Mo Xiaobai frowned and looked around. There were many people everywhere, and they had already surrounded him and Yin Shui. They couldn't go anywhere else even if they wanted to. Yin Shui narrowed her eyes and looked around. Who are they? Void Sect? Or Shadow Sect? Mo Xiaobai shook his head. I don't know, but we'll find out later. At this moment, a few people in black robes walked over from the crowd. There were lines of misfortune flowing on these black-robed people. They were dark gray, almost black. They weren't weak. Yin Shui also saw the malice of the approaching black-robed people and frowned. Is it them? Yes. What a strong aura. Yin Shui's face was solemn. Her combat strength was much lower than Mo Xiaobai's. Even facing a black-robed person, she felt a lot of pressure. Mo Xiaobai smiled. It's okay. I'm here. A sharp light flashed in his eyes. Put on your equipment first. Okay. Yin Shui nodded. Light flowed around the two of them, and equipment appeared on their bodies. Seeing Mo Xiaobai and Yin Shui suddenly put on their equipment, the surrounding pedestrians were suddenly stunned. Then, with some fear on their faces, they all moved away. Mo Xiaobai and Yin Shui saw this and got what they wanted. Mo Xiaobai's eyes swept around and said loudly, Everyone, stay away from us. Otherwise, you'll have to bear the consequences. Hearing this, the people who originally wanted to watch the show hesitated for a moment before moving further away. Of course, there were also those who were really not afraid of death. They didn't go too far and just watched the situation from nearby. The square in front of Baihang City became empty. Only Mo Xiaobai, Yin Shui, and 6 black-robed people were left. The 6 black-robed people surrounded Mo Xiaobai and Yin Shui. The leader was an elf man with long black hair and a pair of black eyes. His eyes were cold. How did you find out about us? Mo Xiaobai's eyes swept across them. This elf man's aura was the strongest. He smiled slightly. Guess? The black-robed people. Suddenly, the atmosphere became awkward. Yin Shui looked at the black-robed people's stiff faces. She wanted to laugh, but was embarrassed. No matter what, today is the day you die. Why? Mo Xiaobai blinked, his face full of confusion. Eh. When the 6 black-robed people heard this, they were a little stunned. Damn, we already said it's the day you die. Why are you still asking why? Is this guy really someone who blasphemed against God? Why did it feel like there was something wrong with his brain? They suddenly didn't know how to talk to Mo Xiaobai. Uffed. Yin Shui's light laughter broke the silence. Mo Xiao Bai and the 6 black-robed people looked at Yin Shui at the same time. Yin Shui was a little embarrassed. Sorry, I couldn't help it. The 6 black-robed people. The elf man's face became more and more ferocious. That wait, just as they were about to attack, Mo Xiao Bai suddenly shouted, "You're from the Shadow Sect?" The elf man heard this and was really stunned. He raised the corner of his mouth and gave Mo Xiao Bai a devilish smile. Guess. Mo Xiao Bai, a kind smile appeared on his face. Do you know that you're asking for a beating? The black-robed people. If you know that you're asking for a beating, why did you treat us like this before? Double standards? Chapter 200. Clang. The clear sound of a sword suddenly rang out, and the silver-white sword array covered everyone present. What? The black-robed people looked down at the sword array on the ground, and their pupils contracted. Get out of the way, the elf leader roared. The next moment, all the black-robed people turned into a cloud of black mist and exploded. Chi, chi, chi. Streaks of silver-white sword aura shot out from the sword array and pierced through the black mist. In the distance, the black mist reappeared, and the 6 black-robed people leaned against each other. Their faces were pale, and some of them even had bloody wounds on their bodies. Caught off guard, they were injured by the void sword aura. The elf leader looked at Mo Xiao Bai with an ugly expression. Damn it, you dare to sneak attack us. They were just talking, but this bastard suddenly attacked them. Wasn't this too much? Mo Xiao Bai rolled his eyes, indicating that he didn't want to talk. Hundreds of void sword auras shot towards the black-robed people in the distance. Oomph. The black-robed people's bodies flashed with black light, and streaks of black mist flowed, forming a huge black vortex. All the sword auras disappeared after entering the vortex. Mo Xiao Bai discovered that he couldn't sense the aura of the sword auras, and was surprised. He didn't expect them to be able to use the same origin skill at the same time. After devouring the void sword radiance, their auras weakened by a few notches. The next moment, they split up and charged towards Mo Xiao Bai. At this moment, a rain of arrows burning with ice flames shot towards one of the black-robed barbarians. That barbarian felt the powerful aura, and his expression changed slightly. Damn it, why is this woman so strong? He originally thought that she was only Mo Xiao Bai's little girlfriend, but he didn't expect her to be so strong. He held the battle axe with both hands and waved it continuously, blocking the rain of ice flame arrows. Clang, clang, clang. His body was constantly pushed back by the rain of arrows. Yin Shui's eyes flashed with an icy blue light. I'll block one. Mo Xiao Bai smiled slightly. Okay, leave the rest to me. His right hand gripped the demonic fire-heavy sword tightly, and in the next moment, he appeared beside a black-robed man holding 2 short swords. Heavenly Wasteland Annihilation / The black-robed man's pupils shrank as he felt the violent aura. His face was filled with horror. The 2 short swords in his hands blocked the devil fire-heavy sword. Clang! His 2 short swords were immediately sent flying by the huge force, and the heavy sword wrapped in golden light slashed at his chest. Chi! His armor shattered and blood gushed out. The black-robed man's body flew out and landed dozens of meters away. Seeing the black-robed man fall heavily to the ground, Mo Xiao Bai was just about to finish him off. At this moment, a sharp aura came from behind. His body froze on the spot as a jet-black sword light streaked across his body. An afterimage, the male elf's pupils shrank. He abruptly turned his head and discovered that a golden sword ray had flashed past and was already nearing his body. So fast, the elf man's scalp went numb. Mo Xiao Bai's speed was something he did not expect. Black light swirled around his body, forming a cross of darkness in front of him. Dong! The heavenly wilderness annihilation / hit the cross. The cross shattered, but the heavenly wilderness annihilation / was also blocked. The elf man retreated rapidly and landed beside the black-robed man who had fallen to the ground in the distance. Mo Xiao Bai glanced at him and smiled. As expected of a level 1 5 apertures expert, The black-robed man was somewhat speechless and shocked. Why are you so strong? This guy's cultivation was only at level 7, 3 apertures. How could he be so strong? Should they say that he was worthy of being a blasphemer? It cannot be explained by common sense. This was what all the black-robed men thought. The black-robed man on the ground took out a bottle of medicine and drank it. The wounds on his body began to heal slowly, and he stood up again. Other than Yin Shui and the black-robed barbarian who were fighting, Mo Xiaobai and the other 5 black-robed men were all looking at each other. The 5 black-robed men looked at Mo Xiaobai with fear in their eyes. Mo Xiaobai's display of strength had greatly reduced their chances of being surrounded. For a moment, they didn't even dare to continue attacking. They were all suppressed by Mo Xiaobai. Outside the plaza, many people with low cultivation had run away because of the battle. Some hadn't even reached level 1 aperture yet. However, there were naturally many powerful people in Northern Blue. On the side, there were some strong body fundamentalists who were watching this battle, which seemed a little strange to them. At this moment, everyone's eyes were wide open as they looked at Mo Xiaobai in a daze. Who is this young man? Heavens, a level 7 3 apertures cultivator actually erupted with level 5 apertures. Am I crazy? Or is this world crazy? I think this world is crazy. These black-robed men should be from a heretic sect, right? Since when did a heretic sect dare to cause trouble in Northern Blue? Hearing this, the others recalled that this was Northern Blue. They looked at the black-robed men in confusion, their eyes full of question marks. Yes, what's wrong with these heretic sect members? They actually dare to surround and kill this young man in broad daylight. Yeah, now that these heretic sect members have appeared, they probably won't be able to escape. They're even willing to give up their lives to kill this young man? This young man didn't blow up this heretic sect's nest, right? Everyone had strange expressions, finding it hard to believe. While they were talking, the elf man's expression turned sinister, a trace of determination flashing through his eyes. The guards in Azure Edge should be arriving soon. We don't have much time left. Let's sacrifice. Hearing this, the other black-robed men's faces turned feverish as they revealed sinister and resolute smiles. The moment we decided to attack, we already offered our lives to our god. Let's sacrifice then. For our god. The shadows are always here. Under the horrified gazes of the crowd, all the black-robed men, including the barbarian who was being suppressed by Yin Shui, roared. All of them let out frenzied roars. In the next moment, their flesh, blood, and bodies slowly turned into wisps of black mist and slowly merged together. Finally, the 6 wisps of black mist formed a circular black mist ball. The mist ball kept surging as if something was trying to break free. At the same time, an evil and powerful aura kept rising from within, becoming more and more terrifying. Mo Xiaobai watched as the lines of misfortune around the mist ball slowly turned from dark gray to black, his expression turning serious. Yin Shui also came to Mo Xiaobai's side, her expression grave. They sacrificed? What do they create? You don't know. Boom. Hiss. At this moment, the black mist ball exploded, and a sharp hissing sound rang through the sky. An extremely violent aura rose, causing everyone to feel a chill in their hearts, as if darkness had shrouded their souls. The people who were watching nearby all turned pale, their faces filled with fear. The black mist dissipated, revealing the figure inside. It was a strange-looking creature with a snake head and a human body. He wore a pitch-black armor and held a trident in his hand. His orange-yellow vertical pupils flashed with a cold light. At this moment, the snake-headed man was staring at Mo Xiaobai. He stuck out his long snake head, his voice cold and hoarse. "You're the mortal who dared to disrespect my master." He waved the trident in his hand, and wisps of gray mist flowed around him, cold and dark aura surging. "Mortal, I'm my master's servant. Today, I'll take your life." Hearing the snake-headed man's introduction, the people watching from afar widened their eyes. Divine servant? Those lunatics sacrificed themselves to summon a divine servant. Retreat. Some of the weaker martial fundamentalists frantically retreated. At this moment, Emo Xiaobai also frowned as his expression turned grave. This snake-headed man was very powerful. He was a 5-aperture level 1 leader, or even stronger. This strength made even Emo Xiaobai feel somewhat apprehensive. He narrowed his eyes, took a step forward, and grinned. "You can't take my life." His magic fire armor suddenly flashed, and wisps of flames flowed around his body. Fury of the Fire Demon. After using Fury of the Fire Demon, his aura suddenly became much stronger. Yin Shui, who was beside him, could not help but take a few steps back from the violent and scorching aura. She looked at Emo Xiaobai with a complicated look in her eyes. She was not convinced that Emo Xiaobai was stronger than her, but she also did not know why. But she was a little happy. In the distance, Yu Yi's cold eyes flashed with a cold light, and there was a hint of surprise in his eyes. How could a mortal possess such powerful combat strength? He could not believe it. However, no matter what, he must kill him today. He held the trident in his right hand. Runes flowed around his body, and his aura increased again. "Mortal, I'll grant you death." He stomped on the ground, and his body turned into a black stream of light, rushing toward Emo Xiaobai. Emo Xiaobai's face was cold, and he held the heavy sword with both hands. Flames, golden light, and holy light surrounded the heavy sword at the same time. His body also rushed out. Infinite breath slash. Clang. The heavy sword and the trident collided. Emo Xiaobai's face changed dramatically. He felt an incomparably powerful force coming from the heavy sword. His palm was shaken to the point of incomparable pain, and his arm trembled slightly. He took a few steps back to stabilize himself, and he looked at Yu Yi in surprise. This guy's strength was so strong. While Emo Xiaobai was surprised, Yu Yi was even more surprised. The body he descended into had the strength of a level 5. How could he not be able to crush a level 7-3 aperture's mortal in a head-on fight? He could only win by a small margin. He could not accept this. Strands of crimson light flashed in his orange-yellow eyes. "Mortal, you've angered me." With a hoarse voice, he rushed toward Emo Xiaobai again. Whoosh! At this moment, a blue light surrounded by ice flames shot toward Yu Yi. Although the ice arrow was not weak, it was nothing to Yu Yi. He waved his trident, and it collided with the ice arrow. Chapter 201. Boom! The ice arrow instantly exploded. At that moment, the icy flames surged, enveloping Yu Yi's body in a layer of icy mist. Yu Yi could feel a trace of coldness on his body, and his origin power began to circulate at an almost imperceptible rate. His orange-yellow eyes turned to look at Yin Shui. "Mortal, you're courting death." He charged at Yin Shui, but Yin Shui's expression didn't change at all. She once again condensed an arrow of icy flames in her hand. At that moment, Emo Xiaobai appeared in front of Yu Yi. He cracked a smile. "Your opponent is right here." Sky Baron Extinction slash. Void Sword Array. Clang. The sound of swords resounded through the air. Silver white and golden sword auras instantly surrounded Yu Yi. Yu Yi remained silent as a dark barrier formed around his body. All of the sword auras slammed into the barrier, creating ripples that quickly thinned out. Only when the sword auras dissipated did the dark barrier disappear. You think you can hurt me with your strength?" He laughed coldly. Emo Xiaobai smiled slightly. An arrow of icy flames suddenly pierced through Emo Xiaobai's chest and shot towards Yu Yi. Yu Yi. His body trembled. What? An afterimage? The arrow of icy flames was just inches away from him, and wisps of icy mist began to surge. Yu Yi's expression became somewhat savage. Void Sword Array and Sky Baron Extinction Slash were both epic tier origin skills. He naturally couldn't block them as easily as he seemed. Even he had to use all of his strength. Now that he had used up all of his energy, he couldn't activate his origin power in time. He could only let out a low roar and rely on his own physical strength to swing the trident. The trident slammed heavily into the arrow of icy flames. Boom! Yet another collision. This time, however, Yu Yi's body was continuously pushed back. Wisps of icy mist seemed to penetrate every inch of his body, slowly covering it. At that moment, Emo Shao Bai appeared behind Yu Yi. Sky Baron Extinction / Void Sword Array. Another 2 epic-grade origin skills erupted. A terrifying sword intent enveloped Secluded Youth. Secluded Youth let out a low growl and reactivated his origin power. Epic-level origin skill, Darkness Calamity. Streams of black fog gushed out, and a violent energy surged, as if a natural disaster was sweeping across. The golden sword radiance and the silver sword radiance collapsed, and the remaining power swept towards Emo Shao Bai. Emo Shao Bai's pupils contracted violently, and his body instantly disappeared from a spot. Chi. Even so, he still felt an incomparably violent force crashing into his chest. His face turned pale, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. The black fog released by the darkness calamity covered an area of several hundred meters. The bluestone slabs in the entire area had been completely shattered, and the square had turned into a mess under the terrifying power. In the distance, Yin Shui had already retreated when the darkness calamity erupted. She had just left the attack range. She looked at the area where the black fog had erupted and gripped her longbow tightly. Her eyes were filled with worry. The black fog quickly dissipated. Even Secluded Youth had expended quite a bit of energy after using an epic-grade origin skill. He couldn't help but take a few deep breaths, then turn to look in Mo Xiaobai's direction. His expression then changed. Although Mo Xiaobai's aura had weakened quite a bit and his face was somewhat pale, he was still standing. How is this possible? He could still stand after receiving such a heavy attack. What kind of body was this? Was it even stronger than his body? In the distance, Mo Xiaobai grinned, then pulled out a flawless healing medicine and drank it. The life force in his body began to circulate, matching the effects of the medicine. Strands of warmth flowed through his body, and his broken organs and bones began to rapidly heal. Mo Xiaobai felt a bit of lingering fear in his heart. Thankfully, his Titan spirit strength was already very strong, and with his life force of perfection, his physical body was definitely not weak. In addition, he had the golden scale armor and the flame demon armor weakening him, and he had dodged quickly enough to escape the most powerful wave of attacks. Even so, he had still suffered some serious injuries. A 5-chakra guy using an epic-grade origin skill was a bit too strong. However, this guy's epic-grade origin skill probably hadn't reached perfection yet. Otherwise, he would probably have to use his Titan spirit body and other methods. So strong. Mo Xiaobai looked at the dazed Yu Yi and couldn't help but grin as he praised. Yu Yi. Everyone in the distance. Everyone was in a bad mood. Not only did you suffer such minor injuries from a 5-chakra powerhouse's epic-grade origin skill, you even praised him for being strong. Those who didn't know better would think that you were only a 5-chakra powerhouse. There were a few 4-chakra and even 5-chakra powerhouses in the distance. When they saw Mo Xiaobai, their mouths twitched. This is a monster, right? That's right. This must be it. Yu Yi's heart sank, and his eyes began to turn red. Damn mortal, you're courting death. Just as he was about to attack again, a sharp aura came from behind him. He turned around and found a frost flower burning with icy blue flames slowly blooming, enveloping him. Damn it! His expression froze. With a low roar, he brandished his trident once more. A violent black python charged out and slammed into the frost flower. Boom! A violent explosion shook the heavens and earth. Yin Shui was pushed back by the shockwave, her face pale. Mo Xiaobai didn't wait for his injuries to heal. When Yu Yi turned around to attack, he appeared behind him once more. A sharp sword light shot out once more. Shit! Yu Yi's expression changed drastically, and his pupils contracted. He didn't expect Mo Xiaobai to be able to continue attacking him while heavily injured. Boom! The heavy sword wrapped in a golden red light slashed at Yu Yi's armor. Chi! The armor was cut open, and blood spurted out from the cracks. Yu Yi's body was sent flying. The moment Yu Yi was sent flying, Mo Xiao Bai's expression was cold as he clenched his left hand. A sword light shot out from the sword formation of the void and slashed at Yu Yi. Ah! Yu Yi roared in a low voice, and his body was shrouded in black mist. Chi chi chi, boom 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 boom. Hundreds of sword light slashed at the black mist, and the shock waves surged. After a while, the shock waves and sword light dissipated, revealing Yu Yi, who was covered in blood. His aura was much weaker, and there were wounds all over his body caused by the sword will. His orange-yellow eyes stared at Mo Xiao Bai, full of hatred and murderous intent. Damn it! His eyes turned blood red, and the black mist around him was dyed red. His flesh and blood became thin, but his aura skyrocketed. Mortal, I'm going to cut you into pieces. Was he going all out? Mo Xiao Bai pursed his lips and gripped his heavy sword tightly. He still had a trump card to use. He didn't panic. At this moment, a cold voice sounded. You don't have a chance. The next moment, a green stream of light descended from the sky and landed between Mo Xiao Bai and Yu Yi. Mo Xiao Bai realized that it was a beautiful elf lady. When Mo Xiao Bai saw that she was wearing the Azure Blade uniform, he immediately relaxed. It was Azure Blade's people. He didn't need to do anything. Only 7 apertures and above could fly down from the sky. With such a big shot here, he didn't need to do anything. Shadow Naga? The elf lady glanced at Yu Yi, who was releasing black and red mist, and her expression was cold. Yu Yi knew that he had failed when he saw the elf lady. His cold blood-red eyes looked at Mo Xiao Bai. Mortal, this is only the beginning. You talk too much. The elf lady frowned. The next moment, a green light flashed past, and Yu Yi's head fell from his neck. His body fell heavily to the ground. Mo Xiao Bai, he was stunned. What the hell? It ended just like that, as expected of someone with 7 apertures and above. It was terrifying. After Yu Yi died, he turned into black mist and disappeared. However, there was nothing left on the ground. Mo Xiao Bai frowned. Where'd he go? The elf lady glanced at him and smiled. He was taken back by Yu Jiang. Gods and their servants have a very close relationship. Some of their methods are unimaginable. Mo Xiao Bai was taken aback, then shrugged. Okay, gods are too far away from me. I'm just a 3-aperture body fundamentalist. The elf lady, she was speechless. This guy knew that he was a 3-aperture body fundamentalist. He could even fight a 5-aperture divine servant, and he was a 3-aperture one. Other than being a 3-aperture cultivator, which part of him was a 3-aperture body fundamentalist. The elf lady's words were stuck in her throat. She didn't know what to say. Sister Yin, why are you here? At this moment, Yin Shui walked over. I heard there was an evil sect causing trouble here, so I came to take a look. Yin smiled. I didn't expect you to be here too, Xiao Shui. She looked at Yin Shui and then at Mo Xiao Bai. She smirked. Are you guys on a date? No. Yin Shui blushed and shook her head. Yin's eyes lit up when she saw Yin Shui's expression. She looked even more gossipy. Mo Xiao Bai was a little confused. You guys know each other? Yin Shui nodded. Yes, Yin, she's my cousin. Sister Yin, he's Mo Xiao Bai. Yin looked at Mo Xiao Bai and widened his eyes in surprise. Then, a mysterious smile appeared on his face. You're Mo Xiao Bai? You are indeed powerful. Only you can beat a 5 apertures divine servant with 3 apertures. You know me? Mo Xiao Bai was even more confused. Yin smiled. You're famous among the higher-ups now. I'm also one of the people in charge of Azure Edge in Beijing. Mo Xiao Bai was speechless, but it was normal. Speaking of which, I'm your senior sister, Junior Mo Xiao Bai. Yin Shui nodded. Sister Yin was a student from Akatsuki a few years ago. She's also one of the outstanding graduates of the school. A few years ago, she was already a 7-aperture divine servant a few years after graduation. How could she not be an outstanding graduate? Even if she wasn't as talented as Su Yin and Natsu Ki, she wasn't too far off. So it's senior sister. Hello. Ha. Junior brother is so obedient. Yin was clearly very happy. She looked at Mo Xiaobai, then at Yin Shui, and smirked. Then I won't disturb your next date. I'll go back and report the situation. With that, she didn't wait for Yin Shui and Mo Xiaobai to say anything. She turned into a ray of light and disappeared into the horizon. Mo Xiaobai and Yin Shui looked at each other. Mo Xiaobai smiled. Let's go back to my house. Yin Shui smiled faintly and nodded. Okay. Chapter 202. Mo Xiaobai and Yin Shui had just opened the door when they smelled a fragrance. Little Red immediately came over. Little Red, who had finished digesting the demonic fire mushroom, was now at the 4th tier, 1st rank. She was in a good mood. Seeing Little Red rubbing her head against Mo Xiaobai, Yin Shui blinked curiously. This is my mother's contracted origin beast. Little Red finally noticed Yin Shui. She turned to look at her red eyes filled with curiosity and confusion. Yin Shui also squinted her eyes and smiled at her. Little Red also stuck her tongue out at her. Come in. Mo Xiaobai pushed Little Red aside and let Yin Shui in. Okay. There was no one in the living room. Mo Xiaobai glanced in the direction of the kitchen. My parents should be cooking. Let's go sit in my room first. He smiled as he spoke. Go to your room? Yin Shui seemed to have thought of something, and her face turned red. Mo Xiaobai blinked, somewhat confused. What's wrong? Seeing Mo Xiaobai's confused expression, Yin Shui hurriedly shook her head. Nothing. Let's go to your room. Oh. Mo Xiaobai nodded, then glanced at Yin Shui, somewhat confused. Little Shui, why is your face so red? Are you okay? When Yin Shui heard this, her body stiffened. Then she glared at Mo Xiaobai. I'm fine. Mo Xiaobai. If you're fine, then fine. Why are you so fierce? Mo Xiaobai felt a bit confused. He shook his head, not thinking about it any further. The two of them went to the room. When Yin Shui saw that the room was neatly tidied up, she couldn't help but squint her eyes and smile. It's pretty neat. Mo Xiaobai smiled. Yeah, I'll tidy up when I have nothing to do. Besides, we've been living together in school for so long. It's not like you don't know that I usually tidy up. Yin Shui smiled. That's true. Yin Shui had also been to Mo Xiaobai's room in school. She sat down beside the bed while Mo Xiaobai took out the puppy plushie from before and placed it in front of the bed. Yin Shui didn't say anything. However, her originally recovered, beautiful face had a touch of redness. Yin Shui stood up hurriedly as the atmosphere in the room became more seductive. She walked to the bookshelf and started reading. Mo Xiaobai glanced at it and couldn't help but scratch his head. Xiao Shui, your book seems to be upside down. Yin Shui's pretentious act of flipping the book froze. The next moment, she flipped the book over and turned to glare at Mo Xiaobai. Shut up. Mo Xiaobai saw Yin Shui's angry look and laughed dryly. Oh. Yin Shui turned her head angrily and ignored Mo Xiaobai. Mo Xiaobai looked at Yin Shui's back, and his heart started to beat faster. The atmosphere was silent and a little strange. Mo Xiaobai scratched his head. I'll go out and see if dinner is ready. Yin Shui quickly put the book down. I'll go with you. The two of them left the room. When they returned to the living room, Mo Yu and Mu Yuzhu had just walked out of the kitchen. When they saw Yin Shui, they were stunned at first, then smiled. You're the Xiao Shui that Xiaobai mentioned? Did Xiaobai bully you? Did you have fun outside? Mu Yuzhu asked passionately. Yin Shui was shocked by Mu Yuzhu's enthusiasm. She blinked blankly and then blushed. Hello, Annie. Xiaobai is very nice to me. He didn't bully me. That's good. Otherwise, you can tell me, and I'll beat him up for you. Mo Xiaobai. No way. He's the biological one. Mo Xiaobai was a little confused. Yin Shui squinted and smiled sweetly. Yes. Thank you, Annie. Good girl. The two of them smiled at each other. Mo Xiaobai and Mo Yu seemed to be in the background, standing there. Dinner ended with Mu Yuzhu and Yin Shui having a pleasant conversation. After dinner, Yin Shui smiled and said, I'm going back. Auntie, thank you, Auntie. Thank you for your hospitality, Auntie. The food was delicious. Your cooking is too good. You're leaving just like that? Mu Yuzhu was stunned. Do you want to sleep here tonight? There's an empty room at home. No. Yin Shui blushed and waved her hands. I still have to go back. Otherwise, my family will be worried. All right then. Mu Yuzhu didn't say anything else after seeing Yin Shui say this. Xiao Bai, send Xiao Shui off. Mu Yuzhu glanced at Mo Xiao Bai. Oh, Mo Xiao Bai nodded. Let's go. The two of them went downstairs. Mo Xiao Bai frowned and thought about something. Today's attack made him a little worried about his parents. After all, they were not as strong as him. Even with the one-time origin skill rune, he was still a little worried. What's wrong? Yin Shui asked curiously when she saw Mo Xiao Bai deep in thought. Mo Xiao Bai came back to his senses and looked at Yin Shui. He was about to say something when his eyes suddenly lit up as he thought of something. Xiao Shui, I want to ask you for a favor. What favor? Yin Shui blinked and was a little confused. It's like this, Mo Xiao Bai told her about his worries. Yin Shui smiled when she heard this. So you're worried about Uncle and Annie. You don't have to worry. Why? Mo Xiao Bai was stunned. Yin Shui's icy blue eyes shone brightly as she looked at Mo Xiao Bai. Because when we were at school, I talked to Sister Xiaodong and Sister Yin. Our three families will send people to protect Uncle and Annie. Mo Xiao Bai couldn't help but be stunned when he heard this. You guys talked about this before? Yin Shui rolled her eyes. Of course, when you were targeted by the Void Church, we thought about it. You're at school after all. If the Void Church can't do anything to you, what if they attack Uncle and Annie? Mo Xiao Bai heard Yin Shui's words and felt a warm current flowing through his heart. So they had thought about it so long ago. He looked down at Yin Shui's smiling face and couldn't help but reach out to hug Yin Shui. Mo Xiao Bai's nose was filled with a fragrant jade in his arms. Yin Shui was caught off guard by Mo Xiao Bai's hug. Her body suddenly froze, and her pretty face turned red as if it was on fire. What are you doing? She broke free from Mo Xiao Bai's embrace in embarrassment and glared at Mo Xiao Bai. Mo Xiao Bai was embarrassed by Yin Shui's glare. He scratched his head and looked embarrassed. I couldn't hold it in. Ha ha ha. You still dare to laugh. Yin Shui punched Mo Xiao Bai in the chest and turned to leave. Hiss! Mo Xiao Bai grimaced in pain and followed Yin Shui. Xiao Shui, slow down. You hurt my chest. I can't walk fast. Then you can stay here. That won't do. I have to send you off. In the office on the top floor of Baihong Shopping Center. Bang! A middle-aged merman with a dignified appearance had an ugly expression and smashed the teacup in his hand. What are those lunatics doing? Cooperating with them was already risky enough. Now, they actually dared to summon divine servants to kill people in broad daylight. Are their brains filled with water? A low and angry roar echoed in the office. Great! An evil cult is causing trouble in Baihong City. If we're targeted by the Azure Blade, it'll be even more troublesome. If I knew this would happen, I wouldn't have worked with those idiots. He slammed his hand on the desk and left a palm print on it. As the merman raged, a handsome rabbit youth sat on the sofa with an indifferent expression. He chuckled. We can't blame those people from the Shadow Cult. We can't blame them. The merman glared at the rabbit youth. The rabbit youth was unmoved by the merman's anger. That young man has the mark of God's wrath on him. He squinted his eyes. There was a deep look in the depths of his eyes. What? Mark of God's wrath. That young man with only 3 chakras. The merman's eyes widened as he stared at the rabbit youth. His expression seemed to say, Are you *King kidding me? Huh, do you think those people from the Shadow Cult are idiots? Even if they succeed, they won't be able to escape. They know they're going to die. Why would they risk everything to kill that young man? The merman was stunned as well. That's right. Those people from the Shadow Cult seemed to be possessed. They didn't have to be in such a hurry. If that young man was really hated by their god, their actions would be understandable. Is it really the mark of God's wrath? But how could an evil god hate a young man with only 3 chakras to this extent? He found it funny that an evil god would target a young man with only 3 chakras. He couldn't help but twitch the corner of his mouth. The rabbit youth leaned back on the sofa leisurely and squinted his eyes. Don't you think it's strange that the higher-ups of the Shadow Cult have gone into hiding? The merman's breathing stagnated, and his pupils contracted. Are you trying to say that it's because of this young man with only 3 chakras? He couldn't believe it. It was too ridiculous. Who knows? This world is full of strange things, isn't it? The rabbit-human youth smiled slightly. But what about our plan? The merman rubbed his forehead, feeling a headache. As soon as he finished speaking, there was a knock on the door. The rabbit youth and the merman were stunned. They looked at each other. The next moment, the rabbit youth suddenly disappeared. The merman exhaled and waved his right hand. The invisible water wave dissipated. He said slowly, "What is it?" "Director Luo, the people from the Azure Blade want to see you." The merman's expression changed slightly. "Got it. I'll be right there." He stood up, opened the door, and walked out. 3 days later, Emo Xiaobai was lying on the bed, bored. He had been at home for almost half a month. After cultivating every day, he didn't know what to do. It was too boring. He sighed and thought for a while. Should I continue to look for void treasures? There's still a few nightmare-grade void domains that I haven't explored yet. It's not a bad idea to look through them. After making up his mind, Emo Xiaobai jumped up and rushed out of the room. He said goodbye to Mo Yu and Mu Yuzhu and left the house. He rode on Little Qing and left northern Blue City, flying toward the first nightmare-grade void domain. Toxic Swamp. Chapter 203. The Toxic Bog was a void domain filled with poisonous fog. The monsters inside were all poisonous and extremely dangerous. Of course, this was only true for ordinary body fundamentalists. Mo Xiaobai had the breath of life, so ordinary poisons were useless against him. Moreover, he had a large pile of antidotes on him. They were all made by Natsuki and were all flawless. Mo Xiaobai wasn't worried at all. The Toxic Bog was located at the southern end of the northern Blue region in Shinkawa Town. Due to the nightmare void domain, Shinkawa Town was as prosperous as an ordinary city, even though it was just a small town. Mo Xiaobai rode Little Qing and stopped at the Adventurers Center outside the Toxic Bog. Then, he bought a ticket and entered the void domain. As soon as he entered the void domain, Mo Xiaobai heard all kinds of antidotes being sold in the square. Mo Xiaobai's gaze swept over the people in the square. He didn't stay for long and quickly left the square, then went straight out of the encampment. During this time, under Mo Xiaobai's nourishment, Little Qing's cultivation had increased by another level. Naturally, its speed had also increased by quite a bit. In just half a day, Little Qing had flown through half of the Toxic Bog. Although he hadn't found the void treasure yet, with the Fate line, his harvest was naturally not small. He had collected a large pile of rare, transcendent materials and even 2 legendary herbs. Just as Mo Xiaobai passed by a plain filled with a rotten smell, he saw a dazzling Fate line in the center of the plain. Mo Xiaobai's eyes lit up. He patted Little Qing's back and had it fly over. However, Mo Xiaobai discovered that apart from him, there were actually quite a few other teams in this plain. All of them were attacking strange and sinister-looking grayish-black bugs. Carrion black beetles. Although the carrion black beetles didn't look good, their entire bodies were treasures. Their carapace could be made into high-quality armor, and their bug sacs were the main ingredient for an extremely precious antidote. They were very valuable. Many adventurers had entered the Toxic Bog to hunt the carrion black beetles directly. Screech! Greeny flew across the sky, its powerful aura spreading in all directions. Immediately, the expressions of the adventurers who were hunting carrion black beetles on the plains changed drastically. Everyone raised their heads and looked at the sky. After seeing Little Apple, who was surrounded by strong winds, the eyes of the various teams could not help but flash with vigilance. This aura, a boss-level magical beast. When did such an expert come to the Toxic Swamp? Everyone was shocked. In a 6-man team, an elf man with an iron bow watched as Little Green slowly landed on the plains. He then turned to look at a night creature man in a white robe. Boss, he landed in the carrion plain. It seems like he came here to hunt carrion black beetles. What should we do? The night creature man frowned slightly. Whose territory did it fall into? Judging from the direction, it should be Leopard Claw's territory. Leopard Claw's territory? The night creature man raised an eyebrow. Given Li Bao's personality, there's no way he would allow. Let's head over to take a look. Yes. Everyone else nodded in agreement. The same conversation was happening in the other teams as well. For a moment, all the teams on the plains moved toward the direction where Little Apple landed. Mo Xiaobai rode Little Apple and stopped at the edge of the red light. After getting off Little Apple's back, Mo Xiaobai looked at the red light. It was a very inconspicuous little rock. All the red light was on the little rock. When Mo Xiaobai saw this, his eyes revealed a pleasantly surprised smile. Having found more than a dozen void treasures, Mo Xiaobai was very familiar with this. It's done. It should be the void treasures. He did not activate the void treasures right away. Instead, he turned to look to his left. On his left, a few auras were approaching quickly. Soon, Mo Xiaobai saw more than a dozen body fundamentalists in equipment enter his sight. The body fundamentalists stopped about 100 meters away from Mo Xiaobai. The leader was a human male with a buzz cut and a few hideous claw marks on his face. His eyes were ferocious. His brown-yellow eyes glanced at Little Apple, who was brushing its feathers beside Mo Xiaobai. A hint of fear flashed through his eyes. Then, he turned to look at Mo Xiaobai and grinned, revealing a sinister smile. "Kid, this is the Leopard Claw's territory. You're not following the rules." Mo Xiaobai was stunned when he heard this. He looked around and was speechless. "There's a territory here?" Li Bao frowned. "Kid, are you making fun of me? Since we've taken over this place, it's naturally our territory. Go somewhere else." Mo Xiaobai raised his eyebrows. Mo Xiaobai had rarely interacted with other adventurers in the few void domains he had visited before. This was the first time he had heard of such a thing. However, he smiled. "Your attitude isn't very good." Li Bao grinned, and his face gradually turned sinister. "You want to steal my territory? What kind of attitude do you want from me?" F***CKU. Dong. Before he could finish, Mo Xiaobai had already appeared in front of him. The demonic fire boots descended from the sky and stepped on his mouth, stomping him to the ground. The soft soil of the Carrion Plain caved in. Li Bao's head was stomped into the ground. The origin power in his body surged. His level 5 cultivation surged as he tried to break free. However, he found that Mo Xiaobai's foot was like a giant mountain. He couldn't move it at all. Mo Xiaobai lowered his head to look at the struggling Li Bao and smiled. He slowly exerted force with his right foot and crushed it. Crack, crack, crack. Traces of blood flowed out from Mo Xiaobai's boots. Li Bao's originally ferocious eyes suddenly revealed a hint of fear, and his struggling movements became sluggish. Only then did Mo Xiaobai relax his strength. He glanced at the other members of the Leopard's Claw adventurer team. Their pupils shrank and they gulped. Fear flashed in their eyes. Some of them even took a step back. Mo Xiaobai didn't care. He looked down at Li Bao and smiled. "Don't you know that trouble comes from careless talk? I won't kill you since I stole your territory. Next time, remember to use your brain. Blink if you hear me." Li Bao was silent. When he saw Mo Xiaobai's eyes turn dangerous, he quickly blinked. Mo Xiaobai smiled gently. "Not bad. You're worth teaching." He let go of his foot. Li Bao hurriedly scrambled away from Mo Xiaobai. His mouth was full of blood as he looked at Mo Xiaobai with a face full of terror. The unstoppable force from before had left a deep impression on him. This kid in front of him didn't even use his origin power. "Are you a human or something?" Even his voice was trembling. How could a 3-apertured, rank 7 body fundamentalist have such terrifying physical strength? Even the poison-winged demon leader Tong Chan couldn't have such terrifying physical strength. Mo Xiaobai frowned at Li Bao's words. "Did you forget what I just said?" Seeing Mo Xiaobai frown, Li Bao's entire body trembled slightly. Cold sweat dripped down his forehead. He hurriedly bowed. "Excuse me, are you a human or something?" Mo Xiaobai. He felt a headache coming on. He didn't know if he should teach him a lesson. Leopard's Claw members? They looked at their leader in disbelief. Could it be that his regiment commander was an idiot? The atmosphere was strangely silent. Li Bao also felt the silence. He was at a loss. What happened? What happened? Mo Xiaobai couldn't help but sigh when he saw Li Bao's dazed expression. Forget it, forget it. My parents taught me not to lower myself to an idiot's level. He looked at Li Bao coldly. Stop talking nonsense. From now on, this is my territory. Do you have any objections? The leopard's claw members' faces changed when they heard this. There were many carrion black beetles in this area. To them, this was already a huge fortune. However, Li Bao's heart shrank when he thought of how Mo Xiao but didn't even use his origin power. He hurriedly nodded. No, we'll leave now. Mo Xiao Bai smiled with satisfaction. I won't stay here for long. 2 or 3 days at most. You can come back when the time comes. When Li Bao and the others heard this, they immediately looked like children who had heard that they could eat candy. Their eyes lit up. Okay, sir, please go ahead. We can wait. We'll leave now. You do what you need to do. Don't worry about us. The leopard's claw members smiled flatteringly at Mo Xiao Bai. Just as they were about to leave, several auras quickly approached. Mo Xiao Bai and the members of the leopard's claw felt it. Li Bao frowned and gave Mo Xiao Bai an ugly smile. Sir, it should be the other teams from the plains. Mo Xiao Bai nodded upon hearing this. Even if they didn't come to find him, he would go find them later. Later, he would open the door to the void treasure. Naturally, there couldn't be anyone nearby. If they came now, it would save him some energy. Soon, 5 teams appeared in Mo Xiao Bai's line of sight one after another. They stopped when they got close to Mo Xiao Bai. When the 5 teams saw Mo Xiao Bai's face, they were all stunned. So young. To have such a powerful mount at such a young age, his identity wasn't simple. Fear flashed through many people's hearts. When they saw Li Bao's bleeding mouth, they were all stunned. Their expressions became strange. Li Bao, what's wrong with your mouth? A barbarian man grinned and laughed. Li Bao's face was cold and ferocious. At this moment, Mo Xiao Bai smiled and said, You guys came the right time. I have something to tell you guys. Everyone's expression froze. A night creature man slowly opened his mouth and asked, Friend, what do you want to say? Mo Xiao Bai's gaze swept across the crowd. He took out the devil fire broadsword. A golden sword aura wrapped around the broadsword. An incomparably violent power surged. When everyone felt this power, their pupils contracted. Their bodies stiffened and cold sweat poured down their backs. Skybaron breath slash. Mo Xiao Bai swung his sword. The golden sword aura swept out for nearly 100 meters. A terrifying sword mark appeared on the ground. Mo Xiao Bai looked at the dumbstruck crowd and smiled. These planes belong to me for the next few days. Who agrees? Who objects? Chapter 204. Everyone stared blankly at the sword mark on the ground. The atmosphere was silent for a long time. Gulp! Someone swallowed his saliva. The sound was clear and audible. In the next moment, everyone came back to their senses. They were drenched in cold sweat. Looking at the smiling Mo Xiao Bai, their eyes were filled with fear. F***CK. What kind of monster was this? Especially Li Bao. Looking at the sword mark that was almost 100 meters long, his scalp was about to explode. Oh my God. Luckily, this man only used his physical strength. Otherwise, how could he still be alive? His heart was filled with gratitude towards Mo Xiao Bai. This lord is too King merciful. He was still alive and well. He wanted to cry. Mo Xiao Bai's expression changed when he saw Li Bao's strange gaze. What was wrong with this man? There was something wrong with his gaze. Did he have masochistic tendencies? Mo Xiao Bai felt a chill run down his spine. We agree. This plane should belong to you, sir. The night creature man quickly said. The others also nodded. Yes. This is yours. We'll leave now. Cold sweat dripped down the foreheads of the adventurer teams. They had flattering smiles on their faces. Mo Xiao Bai smiled with satisfaction. Since you all agree, I won't hold back. The others frowned. Although their hearts were filled with bitterness, Mo Xiao Bai's strength was too strong. In front of such power, they had no right to object. Mo Xiao Bai watched as everyone left. Before long, everyone disappeared from Mo Xiao Bai's line of sight. He narrowed his eyes and said softly, Little Green, let's patrol the plane and see if anyone has not left. Screech, Little Green screeched and carried Mo Xiao Bai into the sky. On the outskirts of the Carrion Plain, a few adventurer teams moved out of the plain. A barbarian man wearing a heavy armor glanced behind him with a lingering fear in his heart. Seeing that there was no one behind him, he heaved a sigh of relief and slowly said, "He didn't chase after us. Looks like he doesn't plan to deal with us." Hearing this, the others heaved a sigh of relief. The night spirit man in the long robe had a look of horror in his eyes. Who was that person just now? Yeah, looking at his age, he seems to be less than 20 years old, right? He's so young, yet he's already at the third aperture. The most terrifying thing about him is his combat prowess. Everyone swallowed their saliva at the thought of the sword light that was nearly 100 meters long. It was too exaggerated. I've lived for so many years, but I've never heard of such a genius. An old man with a head full of white hair spoke slowly. The others nodded in agreement. Li Bao and the members of the Leopard Claw group were extremely silent. Especially Li Bao. He had personally experienced how terrifying Mo Xiaobai was. He opened his mouth slowly. In any case, before he leaves, our Leopard Claw group will definitely not take a single step into the Carrion Plain. The others glanced at Li Bao and were not surprised at all. No one mocked Li Bao for being a coward. They were the same as well. They were all frightened. When Li Bao and the others left, Mo Xiaobai rode on Little Green and circled around the plains. Soon, Mo Xiaobai was satisfied to find that all the groups in the plains had left. Mo Xiaobai flew back to the location of the void treasure. He still did not open it immediately, but decided to wait until nighttime when the sky was dark. Mo Xiaobai circled the vicinity of the void treasure, hunting the carrion black beetles. The carrion black beetles were all peak rank, 3 demonic creatures. The weakest among them was elite rank, and there were quite a few boss rank demonic creatures. After a day, Mo Xiaobai obtained quite a number of transcendent grade materials, making a small profit. Time passed, and soon night fell. Deep darkness shrouded the entire toxic swamp. From time to time, roars could be heard from afar, and powerful auras surged. The void territory at night was far more dangerous than during the day. This was something Mo Xiaobai knew when he first entered the void territory. However, this level of danger was negligible to the current Mo Xiaobai. There was no threat to him. He arrived at the location of the void treasure. In the deep darkness, the crimson line of good luck was extremely conspicuous. Mo Xiaobai bent down and reached out to touch the unassuming pebble. Spatial ripples spread out, and a spatial door appeared. Mo Xiaobai had Little Green stand guard outside while he stepped into the spatial door. Mo Xiaobai's vision changed, and he appeared in a large room. On the ground, there were all sorts of treasures, flashing with a dazzling light. Red, orange, gold, purple. Mo Xiaobai's lips curled up as he walked over. He put all the treasures into his spatial ring. Among them, there was a red legendary grade origin skill crystal, an orange epic grade origin skill crystal, and an epic grade transcendent material. There was a gold grade legendary grade origin skill crystal, 2 legendary grade transcendent materials, and 2 heaven forged equipment. There were too many rare and rare grade items, totaling in the hundreds. Mo Xiaobai couldn't be bothered to count them, so he put them all away. Apart from these, there were also about 200,000 grade 3 origin crystals, which was quite a fortune. After Mo Xiaobai put away the items, he took out the legendary grade origin skill crystal and placed it on his forehead. Very quickly, Mo Xiaobai opened his eyes, revealing a smile. This was a passive origin skill called Archaic Will. This origin skill didn't have very powerful offensive effects, nor did it have any amplification effects. However, it could greatly increase one's consciousness and willpower, preventing them from corroding one's body when facing off against void energy and evil gods. As for those spiritual type attacks, he also had great resistance, and most of them were ineffective against him. One had to know that there were many strange attacks that were impossible to defend against. With this origin skill, he would have an easier time facing off against danger. This was a fairly powerful passive origin skill. Mo Xiaobai directly used the Archaic Will origin skill crystal. If he wanted to increase archaic will, apart from cultivation methods, he could also use medicines that increased his consciousness to increase the speed. Mo Xiaobai didn't have any medicines in this area, so he would ask Sister Xiaotong to help him refine some when he returned to the academy. Mo Xiaobai didn't cultivate, instead taking out the other origin skill crystals to take a look. The epic grade origin skill crystal was an origin skill called Myriad Corrosion, which was a fairly terrifying nature type origin skill. Mo Xiaobai smiled slightly and put the item away. Sister Xiaotong was a nature type origin skill. She had been very envious of the dark flame body that he had given Sister Yin last time, so this could be considered a compensation for her. As for the epic grade transcendent material, Mo Xiaobai took a look and discovered that it was a stalk of green grass. This herb's grade was too high, and Mo Xiaobai didn't know what it was. He would just bring it back to Sister Xiaotong. Mo Xiaobai took a look at the legendary grade origin skill crystal. It was a defensive origin skill called Azure Vine Armor. Unfortunately, Mo Xiaobai didn't have any nature type origin skills. Otherwise, he would have been able to learn them. His golden scale armor seemed a bit weak at the moment. He should bring it back to Sister Xiaotong. These two pieces of legendary heavenly cast equipment weren't things that Mo Xiaobai could use. He could only sell them for money. Mo Xiaobai shook his head slightly. After this wave of attacks, it seemed that the only thing that was suitable for him was archaic will. And it was an origin skill that didn't increase his combat strength. There were too few things that he could use. Mo Xiaobai sighed helplessly and walked out of the Void Treasury. After leaving the Void Treasury, Mo Xiaobai didn't stay for too long. He directly left the poisonous swamp and flew towards the next nightmare domain. At the border of the bloody wilderness, Desolate Blood City. Desolate Blood City was the headquarters of the Desolate Blood Army that guarded the bloody wilderness. The city was vast and majestic, and it was like a stabilizing needle that suppressed all movements in the bloody wilderness. Outside Desolate Blood City, Mengsheng was moving quickly. At this moment, he was in an extremely sorry state. His body was covered in wounds, and some of his injuries had even formed scabs. His hair, which had been neatly combed, was now a mess. His face was pale, and his aura was weak. He raised his head and glanced at the Desolate Blood City, which looked like a giant beast. A trace of pleasant surprise flashed through his eyes. "I'm almost there. I'm almost there. Hang in there." His voice was hoarse and almost inaudible. Whoosh! At this moment, a streak of sword light shot over from afar. Mengsheng's body stiffened, and his heavily injured body rolled to the side, dodging to the side. Swoosh! The sword light slashed into the ground, sending large amounts of dirt flying. Mengsheng suddenly turned around and discovered that Meng Ding and the others had already surrounded him. His expression immediately changed. Meng Ding's expression was cold as he looked at Mengsheng. "Brother, you have no way out. Wouldn't it be better to come with me and revive the ancestor?" Mengsheng looked coldly at Meng Ding, his eyes filled with disappointment and pain. "Brother, you've changed. I won't be the same as you. Do you want to die here?" Meng Ding's expression was ugly. Mengsheng's gaze swept across the huge city behind him. His eyes flashed as he thought of a way to escape. At this moment, Fang Shiji spoke coldly. "Meng Ding, don't give him any more chances. Since he doesn't want to come with us, we can only kill him." But Meng Ding's expression changed. "If we let him escape again, what should we do?" Fang Shiji's cold gaze swept across Meng Ding. Li Lianxing and the others also nodded with a serious expression. "Brother Meng, Brother Fang is right." Meng Ding glanced at Mengsheng again with a pained expression. He sighed slowly, then turned his head. "You guys come." Hearing this, Fang Shiji and the others' expressions became a little better. Mengsheng looked at the people closing in on him, his heart filled with despair. He had already used up all his trump cards. Now, he didn't even have the slightest chance to escape. Just as Mengsheng was in despair, a few powerful auras quickly approached from afar. "Who are you people?" Hearing this voice, Fang Shiji and the others' expressions changed. "Damn it, it's the Desolate Blood Army. Attack!" However, Mengsheng's face lit up with joy. He shouted, "There are evil sect members here. Help! You're courting death." Fang Shiji and the others' expressions changed drastically as they attacked Mengcheng. Chapter 2:05. Mengcheng dodged the attacks of Fang Shiji and the others with all his might, and wounds kept appearing on his body. At this moment, a figure appeared in the middle of everyone. It was a night creature man in a blood-colored uniform. Clang, clang, clang. He held two long swords in his hands and blocked all the attacks of Fang Shiji and the others. Fang Shiji and the others retreated and looked at the night creature man, then at Mengcheng, who was behind him. After hesitating for a moment, Fang Shiji gritted his teeth. "Let's go." Everyone left. After seeing everyone leave, the night creature man turned to look at the severely injured Mengcheng. "Are you okay?" Mengcheng shook his head and was about to speak when his vision suddenly turned black and he fainted. The night creature man's expression changed, and he hurriedly supported Mengcheng. After sensing Mengcheng's vitality, he heaved a sigh of relief. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. A few more figures approached quickly. "Captain, are you okay? Where's the evil sect?" A few men in blood-colored uniforms stopped. They looked at Mengcheng and then asked the night creature man. The night creature man shook his head. "He's fine. This person's injuries are too severe," and he fainted. "Send him back." As for the evil sect, a few of them ran away just now. When the others heard this, they nodded and left with Mengcheng, running towards Desolate Blood City. A day later, the unconscious Mengcheng suddenly opened his eyes and sat up on the bed. His entire body was soaked in sweat, and he was panting heavily. There was a look of fear in his eyes. "You're awake?" A sweet female voice sounded. Mengcheng turned around and saw a Rabbit Man medical staff in a white uniform looking at him with a smile. The fear in Mengcheng's eyes slowly dissipated. He looked at the clean and white room around him and was a little confused. Where am I?" "You're outside, in the medical department of Desolate Blood City. I heard that you were saved by our Desolate Blood Patrol." Hearing this, Mengcheng recalled what happened before he fainted. His breathing paused, and his eyes widened. "Yes, Desolate Blood Army. I have something to discuss with the higher-ups of the Desolate Blood Army. Let me see the higher-ups of the Desolate Blood Army." He gripped the rabbit woman's hands tightly. A look of pain appeared on the rabbit woman's face as she quickly said, "Sir, please calm down." Only then did Mengcheng realize that he had used too much strength. He quickly let go of her hands with an apologetic look on his face. "Sorry, I was too anxious. Are you okay?" The rabbit human girl rubbed her reddened hands and smiled sweetly at Mengcheng. "I'm fine. Don't worry." Mengcheng heaved a sigh of relief. The rabbit woman said, "You've been unconscious for 2 days. Captain Lin Chi told me to inform him as soon as you woke up. Lie down. I'll inform Captain Lin Chi." She's of course, he's obediently. Seeing this, the rabbit-human woman smiled in satisfaction and walked out of the room. A moment later, Lin Chi walked in. Mengcheng hurriedly tried to sit up, but was stopped by Lin Chi. "Brother, you're still very weak. You should lie down and rest." "Captain Lin, thank you for saving me. Otherwise, I would be dead by now." Mengcheng smiled bitterly and thanked him. Lin Chi shook his head slightly and looked at Mengcheng. "It's no big deal. Who are you? Why are you being hunted?" Mengcheng took out his Akatsuki medal. "I'm a history teacher at the Akatsuki Academy. My name is Mengcheng, Akatsuki's history teacher." Lin Chi and the rabbit woman were surprised. "What's Akatsuki's history teacher doing here?" Mengcheng smiled bitterly. He wanted to push up his glasses, but he realized that his glasses had fallen off somewhere. He looked at Lin Chi seriously and said, "Captain Lin, this is a serious matter. It might be a huge threat to the Azure Army. I hope to talk to the Desolate Blood Army's commander." Lin Chi's smile froze when he heard this. His face turned serious. "A huge threat to the Azure Army? Brother Meng, you can't say that." "I'm not saying that. I'm serious," Mengcheng quickly said. Lin Chi frowned. It was obviously impossible for any random person to talk to their Legion commander. Who knows if this threat is real or not? However, Lin Chi looked at Mengcheng's serious face and the Akatsuki medal in his hand. "Brother Meng, you should rest first. After I verify your identity, I'll report to the commander. Meng Chen was surprised. Thank you so much, Captain Lin. Rest well. I'll take my leave. Okay. Lin Chi left the ward. He looked at the Akatsuki medal in his hand and frowned. Then, he quickly left the medical department. A day later, in the medical department, the female rabbit walked in and saw Meng Chung sitting in front of the window with his head lowered as he read, and her face blushed slightly. Meng-sensei, you're almost recovered. Meng Chung came back to his senses and looked at the rabbit-human girl. He smiled and said, Thank you for taking care of me these past few days, Miss Xiao-ing. You're welcome. It's what I should do. Meng Chung looked at Bai-ing. His elegant face was a little embarrassed. He scratched his head and didn't know what to say. Ahem. Suddenly, there was a cough outside the door. Bai-ing was like a frightened rabbit. Her ears stood up. Meng Chung couldn't help but sit up straight. At the door, Lin Chi teased. Did I come the wrong time? Ahem, Captain Lin, you're here. Meng Chung put away his book and stood up. Yes. Lin Chi nodded. His face was serious. Our Legion commander agreed to see you. Really? Meng Chung immediately revealed an excited expression. Brother Meng, don't be happy. Our Legion commander took time out of his busy schedule to see you. You have to be reliable. Otherwise, you'll be fine, but I'll be in trouble. He was afraid that Meng Chung wouldn't be able to give him a reason. Meng Chung understood. He nodded his head with a solemn expression. Don't worry, I will. Then let's go. Desolate Blood Army Headquarters. Under the guidance of the secretary, Meng Chung and Lin Chi came to the Legion commander's office. The middle-aged merman secretary knocked on the door. Legion commander, I brought them. Come in. A calm voice came from behind the door. The merman secretary opened the door and said to Meng Chung and Lin Chi, You can go in. Lin Chi and Meng Chung hurriedly nodded and walked in. The Legion commander's office wasn't small. A map of bloody more hung on the wall. The map was marked in white, light red, dark red, and other colors. There was a dark blue desk by the window, and there was a sofa on the inner side of the desk. At this moment, a handsome man with dark blue short hair was sitting on the sofa. He was wearing the Desolate Blood Army uniform. After Meng Chung and Lin Chi came in, he looked up and glanced at them with his dark blue eyes. His expression was calm. Greetings, Legion Commander. Akatsuki Patrol Team 6th Captain Lin Chi is here to report. When Lin Chi saw the Legion Commander, his body stiffened. Meng Chung was shocked by Lin Chi's voice. After cursing in his heart, he couldn't help but feel nervous. Greetings, Legion Commander. I'm Meng Chung from the Akatsuki Academy. Please sit. The Legion Commander glanced at the two and smiled. Meng Chung and Lin Chi sat on the other side of the sofa. After the two sat down, the Legion Commander stared straight at Meng Chung with a strange smile on his face. Meng Chung, he was dumbfounded by the Legion Commander's gaze. What kind of gaze was that? Why did it feel like something was wrong? Cold sweat broke out on his forehead. Legion Commander, why are you looking at me like that? The Legion Commander chuckled and said softly, Nothing. I just think it's a coincidence. Some time ago, I heard of Teacher Meng Chung's name. You've heard of me? Meng Chung opened his eyes wide and was stunned. Not only Meng Chung, but Lin Chi was also stunned. The Legion Commander chuckled. Let me introduce myself. My name is Yin Chi Yin Shui is my daughter. So you're Yin Shui's father. Meng Chung opened his eyes wide and exclaimed. No wonder, he smiled bitterly. As a member of the Yin family, he naturally knew about Yin Shui. He just didn't expect Yin Shui's father to be the highest-ranking officer in the Desolate Blood Army. But it made sense. After all, it was the Yin family. Lin Chi looked at Meng Chung strangely. He didn't expect this guy to be the teacher of the Legion Commander's beloved daughter. Meng-sensei, you took care of my daughter in school. You flatter me. Meng Chung felt even more ashamed. He had only taught history for one semester before leaving. Although there was a replacement history teacher, he was still a little ashamed. But I've heard of your name before, and it was because of another person. Yin Chi continued to speak. Another person? Meng Chung and Lin Chi, who thought it was because of Yin Shui, were stunned again. Yes, it's because of Mo Xiaobai. Yin Chi seemed to be thinking about something. He He narrowed his eyes, and a strange smile appeared on his handsome face. Whether it was Meng Cheng or Lin Qi, when they saw this smile, they felt a chill down their spines. Meng Cheng's heart skipped a beat. Because of Xiao Bai, he looked at Yin Qi's smile and felt a bit nervous. Did Xiao Bai offend you? That shouldn't be the case. What was Meng Cheng like? Xiao Bai was very talented and lucky. They had been together for so long. Meng Cheng could guarantee that he had a good personality. How could he offend someone like Yin Qi? Offend? When Yin Qi heard Meng Cheng's words, he paused for a second. Then, he showed a trace of a smile. If you're talking about offending me, that kid probably offended me. F***CK, that bastard wanted to steal my daughter just because he was a little talented and lucky. If that kid was in front of him, he would definitely let that kid know how to be popular. Chapter 206. Seeing Yin Qi gnashing his teeth, Meng Cheng was even more worried. Seeing that Xiao Bai had offended this big shot in front of him, it seemed that he had offended him quite badly. What should he do? Seeing Meng Cheng's worried look, Yin Qi smiled. It seems that you still don't know about that kid. Don't worry, I won't do anything bad to him. Hearing this, Meng Cheng and Lin Qi were both stunned. If he offended you, wouldn't you do something bad to him? Both of them were confused. Seeing their confused looks, Yin Qi didn't explain. Regarding some of the shocking things that Mo Xiaobai did, only the upper echelons knew about it. You were the one who gave Mo Xiao by that kid's house, right? Yes. Meng Cheng came back to his senses. He revealed a look of realization. So this was why he had heard of his name? He even checked that Xiao Bai's house was a gift from him? What did that kid Xiao Bai do? Why was this person so meticulous in his investigation? Meng Cheng was a little confused and shocked for a moment. Huh. Yin Qi chuckled. If I hadn't heard about you in advance, I might not have met you. After all, I'm also very busy. Meng Cheng came back to his senses. He quickly said, "Thank you for giving me this opportunity, Army Commander. Tell me what's going on." Yin Qi narrowed his eyes and looked at Meng Cheng. I don't know if you know why I gave the house to Xiao Bai. Oh, why? Yin Qi revealed an interested expression. Because Xiao Bai found an ancient relic during the Murloc Rebellion. That relic was recorded in one of my diaries. Xiao Bai also saw it before, so he brought that relic back to me. An ancient relic? Yin Qi widened his eyes slightly in surprise. What is that? That's exactly what I wanted to say. It's an ancient diary passed down by my ancestors. There are records in that diary. After that, Meng Cheng told her everything about King Meng's diary, the crown of King Meng, the ancient ruins in Bloody Moor, and the remaining half of the diary. After listening to everything, the office fell into silence. Lin Qi's eyes widened as he stared at Meng Cheng in shock. He found it hard to believe. Yin Qi, on the other hand, frowned. After a moment of silence, he slowly opened his mouth. Shadow of the Gods. Putting aside the fact that they want to revive the Blood King, what evidence do you have to prove that what you said is true? Meng Cheng was stunned. He quickly took out some notebooks. These are my notes on the diary of King Meng. You can take a look. Furthermore, I can take you to the ancient ruins in the bloody wilderness. Yin Qi took the notes and looked at them. Then, his face turned even uglier. He suddenly raised his head. Take me to the ancient ruins. Let's go there now. All right. Meng Cheng quickly nodded. Ancient ruins, Blood King's tomb. Yin Qi looked at the bronze door and pursed his lips. It's a ruin that hasn't been discovered before. Lin Qi couldn't help but look inside. What's inside? Meng Cheng said. We've taken all the treasures in the tomb, but there are still carvings of the ancient battle on the walls. Let's go in and take a look. Yin Qi walked in first. They passed through a passage filled with blood-fiend corpses and arrived at the deepest space. After seeing the dried corpse of the demon by the door on the other side, Yin Qi and Lin Qi both frowned. There's a demon in prison here? Yes. When we came in, we killed him and entered the innermost chamber. Meng Cheng explained. Lin Qi couldn't help but ask, who imprisoned this demon here? Hearing this, Meng Cheng was stunned. He was a little confused. He and Meng Ding had never thought about this question. At that time, it was just for the treasure. After finding King Meng's diary, they were even more delighted and didn't care about this question. Now that they thought about it, the Blood King was dead. Who imprisoned this demon here? Yin Qi frowned and glanced at the demon's corpse, then said, "Let's not talk about this first. Let's enter the tomb and take a look." Yes. After the three of them entered the tomb, they saw the murals on the walls and connected them to the ones outside. Yin Qi and Lin Qi fell into silence. Looking up at the murals for a moment, Yin Qi frowned. "Meng-sensei, how long will it take for them to revive the Blood King?" Mengqing thought for a moment, then said, "In the second half of the diary, the second half of the requirements are very complicated. According to the second half of the diary, the conditions for reviving the Blood King are very complicated. Apart from the Blood King's crown and scepter, a powerful formation is also needed. The materials are very precious, and it will probably be difficult to succeed in a short time." At this point, he was silent for a moment, then continued. "I'm not sure exactly how long it will take." "Right." Mengcheng thought of something. He continued speaking. "It seems that the revival requires a specific location in Bloody Wilderness. I didn't have time to see the exact location before I was chased." Yin Qi heaved a sigh of relief. "It won't be done immediately. There's still time." He thought for a moment and continued speaking. "Let's go back first. Tell us what Meng Ding and the others look like. We'll put them on the wanted list. As for the revival location, we'll send people deep into Bloody Wilderness to find it." A trace of gloominess appeared in his heart. There wasn't much time left. The blood fiends were already acting strangely, and the blood tide would arrive soon. Why did they have to encounter this at this time? Northern Green District, Maple City, Maple Hotel. Mo Xiaobai lay on the bed with a hopeless expression. After leaving the poisonous swamp, he went to a few nightmare-level void domains. He searched all the void domains in the Northern Green District. Unfortunately, he didn't find any void treasures in the last few void domains. The last void domain was located in Maple City. It was a void domain called Maple Deadstream. There was also no void treasure in it. Mo Xiaobai couldn't help but feel helpless. He scratched his head and sighed. He didn't expect his luck to be so bad. He didn't find any void treasures. This was unbearable. There was still some time before school started. He should go to the void domains in other districts to look for them. Maple City was located in the easternmost part of the Northern Green District. It was near the border between the Northern Green District and the Tianyu District. It was very close to the Tianyu District. Mo Xiaobai flipped over on the bed and took out the Void Domain Introduction book to check the Tianyu District's nightmare-level void domains. There weren't many nightmare-level void domains in the Tianyu District. The one closest to him was a void domain called Evil Frost Dragon Ridge. This void domain was located in one of the three forbidden areas, a city outside the demonic mountain range. Tianshuang City. Other than Evil Frost Dragon Ridge, Tianshuang City had an even more powerful nightmare-level void domain. It was a huge city. It was quite famous in the entire Tianyu District. "Let's go there then." Mo Xiaobai raised the corner of his mouth and smiled slightly. He put away the book, checked out, and left Maple City on his force motorcycle. 6 days later, Mo Xiaobai walked out of the station. The strong sunlight made him squint his eyes. He turned his head to look at the bustling streets around him and revealed a smile. "So this is Tianshuang City? It's quite big." He didn't stay for long. After summoning Little Green, he flew toward the Evil Frost Dragon Ridge Adventure Center. Evil Frost Dragon Ridge Void Domain Station. Mo Xiaobai appeared in the plaza. As soon as he appeared, a skinny elf man with a wretched look in his eyes came over. "Little brother, you're so handsome." Mo Xiaobai. He looked at the elf man with glowing eyes warily. "What are you doing?" This person's eyes were too hot. The elf man smiled. He wasn't surprised by Mo Xiaobai's wariness. He smiled and said, "Little brother, you're so handsome. You must be very popular with girls, right?" Mo Xiaobai was taken aback. If he was not popular with girls, that was for sure. "What does this have to do with you?" Mo Xiaobai frowned. "Cough. A handsome young man like you who can come to Evil Frost Dragon Ridge at such a young age must have a lot of women, right? Don't you feel powerless because you have too many women? Don't you want women to feel the dignity of a man? I have an evil dragon flower here. You'll feel so good that you can't breathe. How about it?" The elf man's eyebrows danced as he spoke, his eyes glowing with confidence. It was as if Mo Xiao Bai would never refuse. Mo Xiao Bai was a little confused. What dignity was there to speak of? What was there to be helpless about? Did he, Mo Xiao Bai, need this thing? What's an evil dragon flower? Mo Xiao Bai asked curiously. The elf man was stunned for a moment before a hint of excitement flashed through his eyes. Little brother, you're an outsider, right? The evil dragon flower is an extremely precious, transcendent material in the evil frost dragon ridge. It only has one use, which is to make you more manly. The elf man made a wretched gesture as he said this. He raised his eyebrows at Mo Xiao Bai and revealed a smile that all men understood. Then, a hint of pity appeared on his face. This evil dragon flower is something that we had a hard time finding. It's 19998. You really can't afford to lose out. You can't afford to be fooled. Mo Xiao Bai smiled. No need. He turned around and walked out of the plaza. What kind of joke was this? He didn't need this thing at all. Furthermore, he had the life aura. Hey, don't go. How about I give you a discount? Don't go. The elf man panicked when he saw that Mo Xiao Bai was about to leave. However, no matter how he shouted, Mo Xiao Bai didn't turn around. Seeing Mo Xiao Bai disappear from his sight, his face darkened. He spat on the ground. CK, he's an outsider. Since he doesn't want to buy my flower, don't blame me for taking advantage of him. With that, he quickly left the square and disappeared. Chapter 207. In the backyard of a grocery store in the encampment. Dozens of people were bustling about in the yard, each doing their own thing. Boss, there's an outsider here. Should we take action? The elven man ran in and yelled. A tall barbarian man was sitting on a chair against the wall in the yard. The barbarian man was looking at the space ring in his hand. Hearing the elf man's words, he raised his head slightly. His face was covered with wounds, but his eyes were fierce. Where did he come from? I don't know. He came in alone. I wanted to sell him the evil dragon flower, but he didn't even know who it was. The barbarian man raised his eyebrows and said calmly, Old Lin, go with Lil Red. Check his background first. If it's suitable, we'll take action. A night creature man in leather armor who was wiping a black sword in his hand stood up. Let's go. He walked out of the yard. The elf man, Lil Red, nodded and followed him out. Mo Xiao Bai checked his pass and walked out of the encampment. Perhaps it was because Luo Yinyang's cultivation had reached level 7 of the 3 apertures, but when he left, the guards didn't ask him to find a team. After leaving the city, Mo Xiao Bai summoned Lil Green. Under the surprised gazes of the adventurers and guards, he rode on Lil Green and soared into the sky. In the city, Old Lin and Lil Red looked at the leaving winged feather eagle. Old Lin's eyes were filled with excitement. It's the mount of a rank 4 boss, and it went out alone. Looks like it's a fat sheep. Lil Red's eyes were filled with hesitation. He could not help but ask, 6th Master, the opponent has a rank 4 boss mount. Can we handle it? Moreover, its background might not be simple. Old Lin glanced at Lil Red and said calmly, This requires all of us to move out. Once we're done, we'll leave this place to lie low for a while. Go and inform the boss. I'll go after it. Ow. All right. Lil Red saw Old Lin's eyes and gulped. He then nodded and ran toward the encampment. Old Lin left the encampment and chased after Mo Xiao Bai. The evil Frost Dragon Ridge was an incomparably huge mountain ridge area, and there were many powerful demonic beasts living there. This included some evil dragons and evil frost demons. Roar! On top of a tall mountain, a roar resounded throughout the world. A green-gray dragon flew towards Mo Xiao Bai. Its huge wings danced in the wind, and its dark green eyes flashed with evil intent. Its body gave off an ominous aura. Evil dragon? Mo Xiao Bai's eyes lit up. Rank 4 level 2 boss. Dragon-type monsters were generally stronger than ordinary monsters. Even if it was only a tier 3 nightmare domain, any random evil dragon would have the strength of a tier 4 chieftain. Unfortunately, as the evil dragon flapped its wings and flew towards Mo Xiao Bai, a white sword light slashed across its neck, instantly killing it. Mo Xiao Bai's expression remained unchanged as he watched the evil dragon's corpse slowly fall to the ground. A mere Tier 4 Level 2 boss, even if it was a dragon, was still too weak. After Mo Xiao Bai picked up the items that the evil dragon dropped, he quickly continued his search for the void treasure. Half an hour after Mo Xiao Bai left, a blood-winged bat descended from the sky. Old Lin landed beside the evil dragon's shriveled corpse. His eyes widened as he looked at the decapitated evil dragon, his eyes filled with shock. Killed in one hit. Killed in one hit. This evil dragon didn't even have the chance to struggle. Even his voice was a little distorted. So strong. Which powerhouse? Could it be that kid senior? Impossible. He was the only one who left the encampment. Could it be a powerhouse who was passing by? Old Lin frowned. He left behind a black mark, then chased after Mo Xiao Bai again. Night fell. Mo Xiao Bai searched many places, but he still couldn't find the void treasure. However, because of the lines of destiny, he gained a lot. In order to make it easier to recognize the herbs, Mo Xiao Bai even specially bought an illustrated handbook of evil frost dragon ridges herbs. Mo Xiao Bai even found 2 stalks of evil dragon grass. He still hadn't decided if he wanted to eat it. Night fell. Mo Xiao Bai found a cave to rest. At this moment, he suddenly looked into the distance. He could feel dozens of light gray lines of misfortune quickly approaching. The only color that was a little darker was only dark gray. Mo Xiao Bai was confused. Is it a group of demons? Could this be a nest? Soon, his thoughts were overturned. Silhouettes dashed out of the forest one after another, quickly approaching. Mo Xiao Bai raised his eyebrows. They're coming for me? Soon, they surrounded the cave and looked at Mo Xiao Bai. When Mo Xiao Bai saw the perverted elf at the back, his expression became strange. It can't be, because he didn't buy the evil dragon grass. He was targeted? This, Mo Xiao Bai walked out of the cave, speechlessly. His gaze swept across the crowd and finally landed on a 3-meter-tall barbarian standing at the front. He smiled slightly. Robbery? The barbarian's face was covered with scars. He looked at Mo Xiao Bai. The corners of his mouth raised crazily, revealing a strange smile. To have a 4th-rank boss-level mount, your background isn't simple, right? If we let you go, then we'll be in danger. Mo Xiao Bai heard this and nodded. I understand. So they wanted to kill him. In his hand, the magic fire sword appeared. Just as Mo Xiao Bai was about to make a move, he suddenly paused and frowned as he looked at the barbarian leading the group. You're not right. Are you a demon? After comprehending the ancient will, Mo Xiao Bai would take time to cultivate every day. Although he wasn't very strong now, his awareness was much sharper than before. He sensed a well-hidden void energy from the barbarian man. It was a malice that was as deep as the abyss. This feeling was very uncomfortable. Hearing Mo Xiao Bai's words, everyone was stunned. In the next moment, the bandits surrounding him couldn't help but laugh. This is a young master who hasn't left the house before, right? Is he going to die? He's so scared that he's starting to talk nonsense. That's right. If boss is a demon, then aren't we demons too? What a joke, huh? Even old Lin, who was still vigilant, couldn't help but laugh. His mind kept thinking about the evil dragon that was killed in an instant. Now, it seemed that it had nothing to do with this guy. The barbarian was also laughing, but Mo Xiao Bai could feel that the power of the void from his body had become stronger. So it was true. Mo Xiao Bai revealed a kind smile. Void god religion, or a real demon? I'll ask him later. Chapter 208. Cut the crap. Kill him for me. The barbarian man let out a low roar and led the group towards Mo Xiao Bai. Mo Xiao Bai's gaze swept across the dozens of experts charging over and chuckled. Sword formation of the void. With Mo Xiao Bai as the center, the white sword formation spread out and enveloped everyone. At the same time, it lit up the night sky. Clang! The clear sound of the sword rang through the sky as rays of sword radiance shot up into the sky. Chi chi chi. Fresh blood spurted out, and a large number of bandits died. Mo Xiao Bai did not use his full strength. He only summoned a dozen rays of sword radiance. The rest of the bandits widened their eyes when they saw their companions die and blood splattered on their faces. Their eyes were filled with fear. Monster! Everyone trembled as they looked at Mo Xiaobai. Their eyes were filled with fear. Mo Xiaobai did not care. He turned his gaze, and the white sword radiance shot towards the barbarian. Roar! The barbarian felt a strong threat. He roared, and a purplish-black mist gushed out from his body. His body started to change rapidly. His skin turned from yellow to a deep purplish-black, and his black eyes turned blood-red. A chaotic, violent, and evil aura gushed out. Dong! He took a step forward, and his body disappeared. He charged towards Mo Xiaobai with murderous intent in his eyes. With such a strong attack, his defense must be weak. As long as he could get close to him and kill him, he would be safe. Mo Xiaobai could not help but raise his eyebrows when he saw the barbarian charging towards him. Your courage is commendable. He took a step forward and slashed out with the dark red devil fire heavy sword with golden sword radiance. Boom! The violent sword wind blew and the barbarian's breathing stopped. His entire body was in excruciating pain as if it was being torn apart. His blood-red eyes were filled with shock. This is impossible. How could a guy with 3 apertures have such strength? He raised the giant shield in his hand, which was shrouded in purplish-black mist, in an attempt to block the attack. Dong! The heavy sword hit the giant shield, and the barbarian's body flew back faster than when he came. The giant shield in his hand shattered into pieces and scattered everywhere. Poof! The barbarian man fell to the ground and spat out a mouthful of blood. He looked at Mo Xiaobai in shock. Streaks of terrifying sword intent fused into his body, making him feel as if his body was being cut apart inch by inch. The pain was so intense that he felt numb. Cough! He coughed out another mouthful of blood. The blood was suffused with a purple-black luster. Who are you? Mo Xiaobai laughed. You guys want to rob me? It's not like I asked you to rob me. He had only wanted to find a void treasure in peace and quiet. On the side, old Lin, who had luckily escaped the calamity, felt his heart tremble. The evil dragon from before wasn't killed by some passing powerhouse, nor was it killed by some powerhouse behind this guy. He was the one who killed them. How could he be so strong? Furthermore, he turned his head and looked at the barbarian man lying on the ground. His entire body was emitting a chaotic and evil aura. His eyes were full of confusion. Oh, boss is a demon. Not only him, but the other survivors also looked at the barbarian man on the ground. Demon. He's a demon. Boss is actually a demon. Everyone's faces were filled with fear and disbelief. When Mo Xiaobai heard their words, he was slightly stunned. He looked curiously at the barbarian man on the ground. This is a demon? Didn't they say that all demons live in the heavenly Devil Mountain range? There are demons outside too? One of the 3 forbidden lands, the heavenly Devil Mountain range, was home to many demons. It was said that the demons used to be barbarians. However, for some reason, they turned from barbarians to demons and started to live in the void. All demons lived in the heavenly Devil Mountain range. The demons in the deepest part of the heavenly Devil Mountain range were extremely powerful. The completely transformed barbarian man's blood-red eyes were filled with coldness and viciousness. His gaze swept across the shocked crowd. Boom! Suddenly, a violent purple-black fog gushed out from his body and enveloped the crowd. Seeing this, the stunned crowd regained their senses and screamed as they tried to escape. You think I don't exist? Mo Xiaobai sneered. The sword radiance turned silver-white and swept through the purple-black fog. Ah! The purple-black fog dissipated, and the demon let out a sharp scream. Mo Xiaobai waved his right hand, and another sword radiance slashed towards the demon man. Chi. Purple-black blood gushed out, and hideous wounds appeared. The demon man's aura instantly became extremely weak. The rest of the people heaved a sigh of relief. Thank you for saving us, sir. Thank you so much. Mo Xiaobai looked at the crowd and raised his eyebrows. Did you guys make a mistake? I'm not saving you. These people were obviously repeat offenders and wanted to kill him. Why would he save them? He just didn't want anything to happen. Hearing Mo Xiao Bai's words, the bandits started to tremble again. They looked at Mo Xiao Bai with fear in their eyes. Mo Xiao Bai narrowed his eyes and revealed a smile when he saw how scared they were. Stand there and don't move. If you move, you'll die. Everyone froze on the spot and did not dare to move. Mo Xiao Bai lowered his head and looked at the demon man, who was weak. How long have you been here? The demon man's cold eyes did not waver, and he did not speak. Mo Xiao Bai scratched his head. He was not good at interrogations. He turned to look at the rest of the people. How long have you been following this guy? Hearing this, the crowd trembled and knelt on the ground. Sir, we're innocent. We really didn't know that he's a demon man. That's right. We were also forced by this devil cultivator in the beginning. Please be magnanimous. Mo Xiao Bai heard the crowd screams and felt a headache coming on. He frowned and a sword light flashed. The few people who screamed the loudest were all dead. The rest of the people seemed to be strangled by their throats and their bodies stopped. Tell me what I asked. How long have you been following this guy? Who has been following him the longest? Suddenly, everyone turned to look at a beautiful mermaid. The mermaid's face was pale, and she lowered her head in fear. Although this young man was very handsome and moved people's hearts, but he was a god of death. Her heart was about to turn cold, and it was about to stop beating. How long do you think you've been following him? The mermaid's body trembled. I've been following him for more than 2 years. So long? You've been robbing? You didn't do anything else? Mo Xiao Bai frowned slightly. He thought this demon man came out to do some shady business. He did not expect him to just rob. He could not be blamed for being paranoid. He had experienced too much. From the mermaids to the undead, to the black current and the descent of the evil god, it was all kinds of troublesome things. His heart was tired. Now that he heard that this demon man was only out to rob, he actually felt a little happy. Nothing else, sire. It's just a robbery. Do demons often come out of the sky demon mountain range? No. It's just that some weak demons would occasionally sneak past the defensive line. Hearing this, Mo Xiao Bai set his mind at ease. It was really just a little demon who was here to take advantage of others. Mo Xiao Bai revealed a smile. Then he did not need to worry. In the next moment, under everyone's incredulous gazes, the sword light in the void soared into the sky and killed all the robbers, including that demon man. Mo Xiao Bai had no intention of letting them go. Since they wanted to kill him, they had to be prepared to be killed. After killing them, Mo Xiao Bai picked up their spatial rings. One had to admit that these fellows were indeed rich from robbing. They could be considered rich among the low-level, four-orifice body fundamentalists he had encountered. There were close to 1 million grade 4 origin crystals in total, and that was not including the more valuable materials and equipment. Unfortunately, there were only 2 herbs above the legendary grade. Mo Xiao Bai did not care too much. With their combat strength, it would be difficult for them to obtain a legendary item. Even if they did, they would have probably used them up. All in all, the harvest was not bad. Although they were not things he could use, it would not be a problem to sell them for hundreds of millions of grade 3 origin crystals. After a demon's death, they would not drop any extraordinary items like demons or demons. Perhaps it was because the demon dwellers were originally barbarians? Mo Xiao Bai glanced at the corpses on the ground and ignited his demonic flames to burn them all. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Hopefully, he would be a better person in his next life. Afterward, Mo Xiao Bai returned to the cave to rest. 2 days later, in the evening, in the depths of the evil frost dragon ridge, the evil dragon's lair. It was a mountain range that reached into the clouds, and there were many evil dragons resting on the mountain range. At the highest peak of the evil dragon mountain, a loud rumble resounded. Boom! Roar! A grayish-blue evil dragon more than 20 meters long and a frost demon more than 5 meters tall were staring at Mo Xiao Bai. Both of them were covered in wounds, and their eyes were filled with disbelief. The frost demon leader Ling Xuan's hoarse voice rang out. Who the hell are you? There is no way a mortal like you exists in Azure. His gaze swept across the evil dragon and frost demon corpses on the ground. Damned mortal, I will extract your soul and torture it for eternity. At the side, the evil dragon leader Ice Fong was also surging with evil intent, his killing intent skyrocketing. One man against two leaders. Mo Xiaobai's face was a little pale, but it was much better than Ling Shuang and Frost Fong. Ling Shuang and Frost Fong were stronger than the other leaders, but it was still not enough to deal with him. Hearing Ling Shuang's roar, Mo Xiaobai smiled indifferently. Let's talk about it again when you project yourselves here. Good luck. His gaze sharpened, and hundreds of silver-white sword rays shot into the sky. Sword formation of the void, silver-white sword dragon. The silver-white sword dragon rushed towards Ling Shuang and Frost Fong. The two resisted with difficulty, and their roars soon disappeared, along with their lives. As the sword light dissipated, Mo Xiaobai's lips curled up into a smile as he watched the transcendent materials slowly seep out of the corpse. He did not pay much attention to the corpses, but raised his head and looked at an ordinary mountain wall behind them. The red light was bright and dazzling. That was the lucky line of the Void Treasure. Chapter 209. Frost and Frost Fong, the two commander-tier monsters, had dropped quite a number of rare-grade items. There were 6 legendary-level extraordinary materials, including Evil Dragon Bone, Evil Dragon Skin, Dragon Blood, and Demon's Heart. There were also 2 rare-level Origin Skill Crystals. Mo Xiaobai had no use for the rare-level Origin Skill Crystals, but they weren't cheap and could be sold for a good price. As for the others, Mo Xiaobai didn't pay them much attention and put them into his spatial ring. By the time he finished collecting all the extraordinary materials, it was already very late. The Evil Dragon lair was located in the deepest part of the Evil Frost Dragon Ridge, so no adventurers would come here. Mo Xiaobai didn't have to worry about being seen. He walked in front of the stone wall and stretched out his hand. Spatial ripples spread out, and the door to the treasure trove opened. Mo Xiaobai had little Qing stand guard outside while he walked in. There were still 2 small mountains of treasures. One was Origin Crystals, and the other was Extraordinary Materials. Mo Xiaobai collected all the items. Then he looked at the precious items. The legendary level item was a golden dragon pattern fruit. When he saw this fruit, Mo Xiaobai was a little stunned. This fruit was recorded in the Evil Frost Dragon Ridge's Herbalist Handbook. Golden dragon pattern fruit. It was a mutated evil dragon pattern fruit. It could greatly increase one's physical strength. Of course, the evil dragon pattern fruit's characteristics were also preserved. The evil dragon pattern fruit's characteristics were the same as the evil dragon pattern flowers, but its effects were stronger. However, the golden dragon pattern fruit he had found before was only legendary level. This was definitely the first time a legendary level golden dragon pattern fruit had appeared in history. Mo Xiaobai looked at the golden dragon pattern fruit in his hand, and the corners of his mouth rose, revealing an excited smile. Yes, because it could greatly increase one's physical strength, he naturally wasn't excited because of his pride as a man. Mo Xiaobai sat cross-legged on the ground and took a bite of the golden dragon pattern fruit. The sweet taste spread in Mo Xiaobai's mouth. Roar! A majestic dragon roar resounded in Mo Xiaobai's mind. Mo Xiaobai felt a warm and powerful energy slowly seeping into his flesh and bones. Streaks of golden light flickered on his body. Mo Xiaobai could sense a golden dragon swimming in the darkness. After an unknown amount of time, Mo Xiaobai slowly opened his eyes. A golden light flashed in his eyes. Standing up from the ground, Mo Xiaobai clenched his fist and punched out. Boom! He didn't use any origin power and only relied on his physical strength. The fist wind exploded and the air waves roared. The powerful force was even close to when he used the Heavenly Wasteland Annihilation Slash with all his strength. Mo Xiaobai looked at his own fist and was stunned. What the hell? Wasn't this improvement a little too big? He was now confident that he could defeat a demonic creature at the bottom of the 4th rank with his physical strength alone. His physical strength had increased by several times. With the increase in his physical strength, his overall strength had also increased greatly. Now, Mo Xiaobai felt that even if he met a higher-ranked demonic creature, he would still have a chance. This improvement was too exaggerated. However, very quickly, Mo Xiaobai's expression became strange. He lowered his head and looked down. It was just that the medicinal effect was too strong and was a little uncomfortable. He couldn't help but think of Yin Shui, Nat Su Qi, and Su Yin's hot figures. His heart pounded. Cough. It wasn't a big problem. He just had to endure it for a while. Mo Xiaobai swallowed his saliva and shook his head, trying to get rid of the beautiful scene in his mind. Afterwards, Mo Xiaobai took out 2 epic origin skill crystals. One of the origin skill crystals was called Frost Dragon Body. It was a body-refining origin skill. Mo Xiaobai's eyes turned red. A body-refining origin skill. Unfortunately, it required an affinity with the ice element to use, so he couldn't use it. He could only let Yin Shui take advantage of it. However, after eating the golden dragon fruit, his current physical strength should be a bit stronger than before when he cultivated an epic origin skill. The other origin skill crystal was called 8-Directional Dragon Cry. It was a powerful offensive origin skill. However, Mo Xiaobai thought about it and decided not to use it. The effect of this origin skill was very similar to the Void Sword Array. He already had the Void Sword Array. Using this thing was a bit too wasteful. He would go back and ask Su Yin if she wanted it. This origin skill required a powerful physical body, so it was quite suitable for her. Apart from the 2 epic origin skill crystals, there was also an epic origin skill crystal, Evil Frost Dragon Iron Essence. He would give it to Su Yin and see if she could forge something with it. Afterwards, there was a pile of legendary items. There were heaven-forged equipment, extraordinary materials, and basically everything. Mo Xiaobai only glanced around briefly before finding something suitable for him. It was called Battle Dragon's Protection. It was a legendary defensive origin skill. It was much better than his golden scale armor. He decisively learned it, and the golden scale armor could be considered retired. The remaining items were all items that had been sold. Mo Xiaobai tossed them to the side. After careful calculation, he found that he had gained quite a lot from this void treasure trove. His combat strength had increased by a large margin. Mo Xiaobai was in a good mood. After leaving the void treasure trove, Little Qing came over and rubbed against Mo Xiaobai's face. It looked a bit sad. Mo Xiaobai looked at the time and discovered that 5 days had already passed. This time had been used to absorb the golden dragon fruit. Mo Xiaobai gently patted Little Qing's head and smiled. Sorry to keep you waiting. Let's go back. Screech. Mo Xiaobai sat on Little Qing and flew towards the Void Domain's encampment. Encampment outside the city gates. Mo Xiaobai landed on Little Qing's back and looked around in confusion. The last time he came out, there were still many adventurers coming and going. Why was it so quiet this time? The few adventurers who came back were all from outside. None of them went out. After putting away Little Qing, Mo Xiaobai came to the city gates. I want to enter the city. The guard glanced at Mo Xiaobai and took the pass from Mo Xiaobai. He said, the demonic beasts in the Sky Devil Mountain Range are in chaos. Many demonic beasts have rushed out and are about to attack Tianshuang City. Adventurer, if possible, you should also do your part to protect Tianshuang City. Hearing the guard's words, Mo Xiaobai was stunned. Then, he revealed a look of realization. The demonic beasts are going to attack the city. No wonder there were so few people in the encampment. Yes. All right, you can go in. Mo Xiaobai took the pass and nodded. I'll go and help. It was a good opportunity to see how strong he was now. After entering the encampment, he returned to Tianshuang City through the space gate. The Adventure Center was also unusually quiet at this moment. Only a portion of service staff with low cultivation were guarding their posts. The others did not seem to be there. Perhaps they had gone to defend the city? Mo Xiaobai left the Adventure Center and walked onto the street. On the street, a sharp alarm sounded. The demonic beast wave is coming. Ordinary citizens, please go to the shelter. The demonic beast wave is coming. Ordinary citizens, please go to the shelter. Groups of guards stood on the road and guided the citizens to the underground shelter. Almost every town had such a shelter. Don't crowd. Line up. The elderly and children go in first. There are too many people at this entrance. Come this way. Squads of guards were busy with their tasks. After seeing Mo Xiao Bai, a group of guards walked over. Are you an adventurer? Please show me your adventurer badge. A beautiful human woman with long black hair sized up Mo Xiao Bai's magic fire set. The gorgeous magic fire set surprised many of the guards. As guards, there were people who knew what was good for them. Could this set be of a rare grade, or even a legendary grade? Who was this young man? Mo Xiao Bai saw them, sizing him up. He smiled and nodded. Yes. He took out his adventurer badge. A white-eyed adventurer? Several members of the Guardian Army exclaimed in a low voice. The human woman in the lead was also stunned. The way she looked at Mo Xiao Bai changed again. She reached out to take Mo Xiao Bai's badge and operated the device. After seeing Mo Xiao Bai's age, her breathing stopped. He was not even 18 years old. So young. He was also very strong. She pursed her lips and secretly sized up Mo Xiao Bai's face. He was also very handsome. Her pretty face blushed. She lowered her head and handed the adventurer badge to Mo Xiao Bai. Mr. Mo, Tianchuang City is about to be attacked by the beast tide. I hope you can help and fight to protect Tianchuang City. A silver-level adventurer was definitely not weak. Mo Xiao Bai took the adventurer badge and smiled gently. I will. The human woman's face turned even redder. Mo Xiao Bai did not mind. He smiled and said, Then I'll take my leave first. With that, he summoned Little Qing and left on Little Qing. The human woman looked up at Mo Xiao Bai in a daze. Behind her, a few guards were stunned when they saw the human woman's dazed look. Was this still their domineering captain? Was she still the delicate flower of the 8th Legion of the Guards? Had her heart been stolen? My goddess! The guards seemed to have heard the sound of their hearts breaking. Tianchuang City was very big. The demonic mountain range was to the south. Of course, Tianchuang City was still a distance away from the demonic mountain range. The beast tide had not arrived yet, but there were already many adventurers outside working with the guards to build a defense line. At one side of the defense line, a barbarian man wearing a high-level guard's armor was talking to a group of young people. Young Master Gong, Ms. Su, young Master Tai Shu, and all the other young masters and young mistresses, please help us defend the city. Gong He, who was 5 meters tall, had short dark red hair, and looked upright and handsome. He wore a thick yellow armor and nodded, showing an honest smile. Don't worry, Deputy Commander Li. We'll do our best to protect Tianchuang City. The guard's deputy commander, Li Lu, smiled and said, Of course, I'm not worried. These people in front of him were all outstanding disciples of big families. Then I'll go take a look elsewhere. Li Lu said, Go ahead, Deputy Commander Li. We'll take care of things here. The handsome young merman, Tai Shu Jin, who had blue curly hair and was wearing blue light armor and holding a trident, smiled and said. Li Lu nodded, then hurriedly turned and left to take care of things elsewhere. After Li Lu left, Tai Shu Jin turned to look at Su Yin, who was looking in the direction of the celestial demon mountain range with her arms crossed. A trace of tenderness and love flashed in his eyes. Little Yin, stay close to me later. I'll protect you. Su Yin was stunned when she heard that. Then, she frowned. Tai Shu Jin, you think I'm not as strong as you? Do I need your protection? Also call me Su Yin. We're not that close. Feeling the gazes of the people around him, Tai Shu Jin's expression was a bit awkward. He opened his mouth and was about to speak. Screech. Suddenly, an eagle's cry sounded from the sky. Su Yin, who had been frowning, suddenly shook. She opened her eyes wide and looked up at the sky. Seeing Su Yin's sudden change in expression, everyone else was dumbfounded. What happened? They also looked up at the sky. Seeing the wind feather eagle flying in the sky, Su Yin showed a surprised smile and shouted, Xiao Bai Bai, come down quickly. Sister is here. Everyone, Tai Shu Jin. His face suddenly froze.